Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time to take out the trash, as we like to say here at I'm Fired Up, because we have so many dirty little monkeys amongst us in the GOP. We have continued to show you they can call us anything and everything they want, but I'm going to try to keep it right. I just saw that Ma Den, my mother-in-law, happens to be on the chat, so I'm not going to screw that up because she gives me the business sometimes, doesn't she? She's always mean to me. And Diesel, stop looking my leg. Poor guy. I've been doing shows all day. Ladies and gentlemen, this whole thing is about exposing what is necessary in order for us to take back our republic. I work along with so many other people with my beautiful wife, some amazing patriots all over this country and state to take back what is ours, and that is our republic, and for and by we the people. We are exposing these people not because we get off on it. We are exposing these people because the idea of the evil ways that things are done in our political lexicon that it then turns into policy or the way we do things in this country and state can't happen anymore. We have become an apathetic community to the point where we allow it to happen. This is our fault. We're behind the 8 ball because they've been getting away with it for so long. The proverbial good old boys have been in a position to where they have been allowed to run rampant from sea to shining sea, not just here in South Carolina, which is the home to the most conservative supermajority in the country, ranked 33rd out of 50 states. Not acceptable as a conservative Republican, or for that matter, only thing we have left is the idea of the Republican Party and its bedrock. That being said, tonight's special is the expose of the Kangaroo Court that when Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis and Boyd Law Firm here in Myrtle Beach, they're on Google. We are exposing them because they've been put in place by none other than Drew McKissick, to the point where Drew McKissick has implanted them as the HCGOP over our duly elected. We have proven in every way, shape, or form that this is not the way it's supposed to be. Those of us with election integrity, or that want election integrity across this country, from Dominion to ES&S to bad secretaries of state, to the point where you have Katie Hobbs out there taking money from the cartels. This cannot happen anymore. And the only people that can stop it is we, the people, like Steve Bannon says, and General Flynn, that it takes local impact local action has national impact. Hey, Brady boy, hockey stud. Dude's going to be in NHL, and I'm going to be drinking beers watching that kid just throttle people. I can't wait. My dude. This is an important thing for all of us to get involved in, and that's why we continue to do what we do. My wife and I stay in the front of this fight, and we're willing to take those arrows, and we're able to take those punches. But there are other people. It is not just us. I just have the platform to do it, and I want to introduce 2 of them that are going to be with me tonight to go over Reese Boyd III of Davis and Boyd Law Firm. We are going to go through his testimony tonight, and we are going to expose a judge who I feel gave a whole lot of latitude to the wrong side, just based off of the fact of who was before him. Before I bring up and we do a recap of what happened last night, I want to introduce my guest. First off is none other than the whistleblower herself. I call her Skippy lovingly now, but at one point we were in brutal war together. And she's got a new podcast with John Cummings, and she has apparently already knocked him out because she had to have surgery on her wrist. She's carrying a club tonight to beat down the establishment. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Shannon Grady. Shannon.
Hey, I'm ready.
For somebody that was laid up getting cut up, you look good. You're doing all right. You're doing okay.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
And my other guest tonight was with us last night, and the guy that has stood between you and complete tyranny in regards to your GOP and how politics are done in the state of South Carolina. He's not a large stature of a man, but I will tell you this. He is rock solid and has never shown his ass. That's my job. I show my ass everywhere. And at the end of the day, he stands with utter stoic personality and is always there to answer the question and be there and stand in this fight with nothing more than class and sophistication. He is the epitome of what I want in a leader of my GOP. Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Slagle. What's up? Oh, here, we got those.
Nice introduction.
We'll do that. We'll do that since she's got a club. I don't want her swinging that thing around.
There you go.
All right, we have a drugged up Shannon Grady and a Roger Slagle in the dark. So I like it. Looks good, bud. So yesterday in our recap, Shannon, you couldn't be with us. I'm assuming you watched it this morning whenever you woke up from your slumber.
I did.
From your situation. And first off, I want to thank everybody on Getter. Looks like we were getting some people in the chat. Facebook, Elizabeth's watching the chat there. We have a lot of people, it looks like, moving quickly. Be sure to share this because us exposing these people, and I challenge anybody to come and say I'm a liar. They like to say it, but they never bring any receipts, do they, Shannon?
No, they don't.
All right. So last night we went through none other than Jerry McDaniel, the former Trump director, and on her Facebook says former director Trump, South Carolina. We actually put up the Politico piece that said that she was terminated. She was terminated for whatever reason. Apparently, whatever. I heard.
Where's that Trump show where he used to say, "You're fired"?
That's what happened. That sure did. And, you know, she's probably sending text messages to Donald right now. That's what she likes to say when she's taking pictures of us at these events. And I'm just going to call it. We saw the most fraudulent testimony I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And the reason behind that and why it was fraudulent, Jerry McDaniel, out of all the people that were there at the October 11th meeting for their elections to try to implement a new GOP, which we're going to go into tonight, why the whole thing was illegal in the first place. The one person that Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis & Boyd law firm Myrtle Beach, actually said that he was going to put up one witness, and it was none other than Jerry McDaniel. Through the research of my lovely wife, Elizabeth, and we realized and we put up those receipts and proof exhibits, whatever the flip you want to call them, to prove that Jerry McDaniel sat on a stand for an hour, answered questions about a meeting that she was never at.
Correct.
There is no bigger perjury than that. She stood on that ideological plane stating statements of fact and walking around said meeting when she was not even there. She was actually, and I think I still have a photo here. By golly, let's just see, shall we? Yes, I do. Where was she? She was with none other than Russell Fry on October 11th. Tonight, we're passing out our puffy cups, and it says Russell on it, and I'm going to drink out of it, and it says GOP or whatever. She wrote a bunch of shit on a cup, and she sent it to Florence, and she was there to make sure in her puffy shirt that her NASCAR team from Horry County shirt to let him know. We actually have video that we can prove our case more because I believe that we have been. And is Spurlock on? Is she on? Just go ahead and let everybody know. We've already been threatened with lawsuits in regards to any conversation we have with the bar is illegal from Reese Boyd III, Esquire.
No, it's not.
Come get me. I don't give
He's a liar.
This is why we have to fight. This isn't personal. You made it personal for many of us. But I'm going to stay. I'm going to leave my quips as they were. This is the guy we're talking about. For those of you who aren't sure, you know, the ones that the Democrats are for Reese Boyd for Senate. That fella. That's one of the greatest things I've ever been given. My neighbor gave me that. Isn't that nice? He had that from.
Beautiful.
It's a great piece right there. Anywho, so last night we uncovered that the one witness that Reese Boyd brought to try to take out the HCGOP and to give validity to what they are calling their HCGOP. I like to call them the happy hour Republicans. They are, in fact, put out there to take down none other than Shannon and the rest of our board of the HCGOP. Why? Why do you think that they're trying to get rid of us? And I'll start with you, Shannon.
Well, because we don't fit what the narrative is that they want to put out there. We're not walking hand in glove with Drew McKissick. We do not kowtow to his every whim. And you don't even need to look any further than the fact that he's co-chair now with Romney McDaniel, who is the biggest rhino to ever exist. And yet there she is, our chairman, and he's the co-chair with her. So that tells you exactly what kind of leadership we can expect out of South Carolina. And so myself being a conservative, a veteran, a military veteran, there's no way I'm going to continue to follow that path. So when I decided to rebel, they didn't like the way I rocked the ship. I don't care.
For those of you that are wondering, and you've seen the telegrams that have been put around everywhere, known as the GOP Pirates, that's what Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis and Boyd Law Firm, this guy, he named their little group. In fact, the GOP Pirates, that is July. When was we had it in April, right? Our reorganization, April, May, June, July.
Well, yeah. And then we had the state convention would have been in May.
Mhm.
So just a month after that, this group was created.
So this is an attorney here in Erie County who we're going to hear on the stand tonight. And he was actually the one that started this, that actually implicates none other than the lieutenant governor of South Carolina, who was in the first meeting. And wait for it, for my national folks, you're not going to believe this, PhD bunny. They actually did minutes. They did minutes of their little group to try to unilaterally take down the new HCGOP that is ran by Roger Slagle. And Shannon Grady in the top box there was actually a part of this. And I'm going to ask again, was the lieutenant governor of South Carolina, Pamela Yvette, at that meeting?
Yes, unequivocally, Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette was present at that meeting, as was her security detail and her administrative assistant.
A meeting, as you can see from the minutes, that speaks of nothing other than to undermine Roger Slagle, Tracy Beans, and Jeremy Halpin. Is that a safe assumption? I can put it back up if anybody would like to know.
Yes, that's exactly what it was for.
So there you have it. For my national folks, the lieutenant governor of South Carolina decided to implement herself in the disgusting actions a month after Roger Slagle won in first ballot, and then took themselves out. So that hopefully get everybody caught up. I see that Getter is starting to go in a direction here. Beer and Backroads, PhD Bunny, Amanda, I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry about your loss. This is where we're at. The people of the country need to know this, because as we've done this on our national show on redvoicemedia.com, we have been able to show that this is systemic in Colorado. This is systemic in South Texas. I actually had Cody Cagg of the Latinos for Trump saying that they're being hunted. This is an all-out war against anybody that is for keeping or making America great, or for that matter, America First agenda. Is that safe to say, Shannon?
Absolutely. America First is not their agenda. America Last is their agenda.
Roger,
because
would you
themselves first?
Roger, this has been a direct attack on you. And this has been a heavily weighed war to the point of this lawsuit. I want to know, because last night we weren't able to tell you until you were on the show. How did you feel about hearing that Jerry McDaniel, is it Daniel or Daniel?
Daniel. It's
Daniel.
McDaniel.
I know McDaniel. Jerry McDaniel lied constantly on the stand. Absolutely. There's no other word for it other than perjuring oneself, to the point where she was speaking of factual statements, to the point of saying she was getting emails and the sort, and she wasn't. How did that feel, realizing that somebody took time out of their day to go lie on the stand to literally try to take you down?
Well, I mean, obviously, a lot of things didn't make sense once I saw the other evidence that she wasn't there, or is way late, or after. I'm shocked. To shock me.
Well, we tried to change the whole thing. I'm going to send Elizabeth in there, see if we can't get the computer to work, because your iPad is shit. It's the Chinese. It's on your fault. So we're going to go into some stuff real quick. Elizabeth's coming to see if she can't figure out the laptop, and we thought it was good, but it just isn't. But Roger, we'll be right back with you. All right, Shannon, what we're going to do here is and last night you heard of Jerry. And once it was proven that we legitimately could show that she lied on the stand. She didn't lie about something or forgot something. She spoke in direct conversation. And I have it here to say that she was at the October 11th, where they brought in a new leadership because Drew McKissick had said that Roger Slagle had in fact resigned, which we're going to prove tonight that there is it's just Drew doing whatever the hell he wants, like he did in Greenville. Correct. So with that being said, Jerry McDaniel said that she, and remember, Reese had one witness, and it was her. And she talked about being there, and she's talked about practice liar. And here it is right here. We actually did the video differently so that you could see what was happening. But here is her husband, Tom, who I've never met but once in 7 years, even when she did pretend to like me. This is him taking her proxy as the executive committee woman during this meeting where they did the election to bring in Reese and the other fake GOP executives. It's quick, but it gives you an idea why. And let me ask you, because you used to run the women's club, you understand Robert's rules. Can you explain to me why Jerry would be at this building and not be sitting and during roll call actually say she's there?
There's absolutely no reason. If she was in that building, she would have said present. Even if she were walking around the room, as she tried to say, she still could have taken the time out to vote as an EC. So there's absolutely no reason why she couldn't have been, if she were present, as she's claiming, that she would not have needed a proxy. So that's just a complete fabrication.
Well, here is the actual roll call where June Avenger, who's going to be a star in this show later on this evening.
The current president of the Horry County Republican Women, by the way.
The current president of the Horry County Republican Women that was actually used as an auxiliary group to take out Roger Slagle and
Yes.
RHCGOP. Okay, cool. But here is where you can see Mr. Tom, and I believe Mike Connett, the circus ring show or sideshow, actually said, "Let's stand up so everybody can see your puss." I don't know if we cut that off or not, but here it is.
All right, Tom, stand up. Let everyone.
So we did cut it off because I didn't think puss was good. But there you heard. And June Avenger didn't even look for Jerry because she wasn't in the room.
Correct.
And she already knew that there was a proxy by saying Tom. Is that fair?
That's absolutely 100% accurate.
And you actually know of people that were at that meeting that, in fact, did say Jerry McDaniel was never in that building.
Absolutely. And I could obviously identify Tom. I know him. He's a good guy. He's unfortunately married to Jerry.
Sometimes that happens. And here's an event that happened at the same time, posted by none other than Jerry Suggs McDaniel, that says tonight, oh, you need glasses. Tonight, we unveiled the new logo for the 7th Congressional District in Florence in their monthly meeting. I was honored to make the cups for the officers and also present Russell Fry his cup. He will be taken to Washington in January. The cup has the new logo with the Congressman Russell Fry on the side. Also presented to the chairman, Jerry Rovner, his cup. The attendance was huge. Around 120 people came out. Thank you, Ray, for all of your hard work. And Mike Page, you are an awesome chairman. So how far is Florence, South Carolina, away from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina?
Well, I drive like a bat out of hell, and I'd say it's about an hour, the best you can do if you get all the right lights and you don't hit any signs. Aside from that, it's about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes if you have any traffic delays.
So we are absolutely safe to say there's no way in the wide world of sports that she attended this meeting in any way, shape, or form. We have eyewitness and we have proof. Because I want to make this abundantly clear so that Jerry and her spin team doesn't come out and say, well, I was taking a dump because I have Crohn's or some shit, because she's always sick about something. And I just want to put it out there because, frankly, I'm sick of these people thinking we're so stupid and they keep getting bit. Can I tell you something or ask you something? Sure. Have I come after anybody other than them coming after me? Do I just arbitrarily pick people out and go after them?
No, I've never seen you do that. It's usually
we went at it for almost a year.
That is correct.
All right.
You never said anything about me that was a lie, and the same is true. I never lied about you, and I know people have accused me of such, but I never did.
Sure.
So yeah. Well,
I appreciate you standing up, and this is what I close every show with: show up, stand up, speak up. It's your republic, fight for it. And sooner or later, you realize that the ugly around you was real, and you took that decision, and you said, you know what, Chad, I need to come over and do some apologizing. You came very humble. You apologized to all the right people. I mean, we had it out really bad, and yes, there was something that we came together on in regards to our military friends, and I would do it again tomorrow. But that being said, you came to the realization, and the best is when you called me not long ago and your son was in the background going, Chad, don't you hate each other?
Right.
So, and again, I wouldn't say that I'm showing mercy, but I've always said that we all make mistakes. And at the end of the day, if you can humiliate yourself to the point of apology and to say I was wrong, that's the hardest thing for someone to do. You have in fact done that. And you came with receipts like this from the with a Telegram BS. I'm trying to do three things at once.
Pirates.
Yeah, the Telegram Pirates, as you can see, this is from Reese Boyd III. Then have your friend, how about Jim Zilla button, can post about how he's asking for a friend, but Jim Furry demands triple secret lifetime probation. There you go. And it even gets better where this is what he talked to everybody when he was running for chairman, calling us brown shirt Bolsheviks or Nazis and communist Bolsheviks. You can't be up front with a Bolshevik, Jim. They are deceitful little bastards. This guy ends every one of his infomercial because he has a radio show, but he pays to be on it. He is not from the radio show. I mean, from the radio station. They don't pay him to be there. He has an infomercial on the weekend called Coffee with Reese or some shit. And here you have him ending every show with Proverbs. This is one of the things I can't stand. And that's why you don't hear me ripping Proverbs or ripping the Bible apart. I'm all about let's just get real. And here he is, Mr. Proverbs after every show. I say show up, stand up, speak up, and go fight somebody. He says Proverbs and then calls us all little bastards. Sad. So I believe that Roger is good now. Let's see here. Let me see if he's good. Roger, you good now?
I think so. How's the audio?
Oh, you're money now. We're solid. Okay. Redbone does it again. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's roll our sleeves up. Woman. I did, but she's mean as hell. Her mom's on here too. She was holy shit, man. Denise. I'm glad Denise is on here because she wanted a piece of you, Shannon, for a while there. So I'm just putting it out there.
She told me.
I know she did. She's from 8th and Tasker. Is it 5th and Tasker? Whatever. 5th and Tasker. I don't know. She's badass. All right. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to go through the last final segments, which is one short one, one long one. And we are going to show you, and this is the transcript from court in the lawsuit of, and it's actually great for Don Bound and all them that are out there saying, and who else was saying we needed the checkbook? Elizabeth? Remember, or was that Patricia? Yeah, Patricia. She lives in an RV down on the river. Said that we have to turn in a checkbook in the sort. We have roughly, and it's well documented, $30,000 in the bank account that we've managed to put together for the HCGOP, and they did not come after the money. They came after tables and chairs, basically. Is that a fair statement, Roger Slagle?
Yeah, I mean, it was a claim and delivery for some tables, chairs, documents, basically.
And all their malcontents are on Facebook out there saying that we lost in court and Reese is the chairman. And when you listen to this tonight, and it is very important to hear this testimony because they actually, Reese in his own words actually says, you're not here to decide. And the SCGOP lawyer who just randomly showed up, which was weird that she was allowed to even ask questions, but apparently you can in magistrate court because the judge isn't even gone to the bar. He even says that.
Can I add one thing? Last night, one of the things that Jerry said in her testimony when she perjured herself on the stand, and it relates to this, she said that she turned over access to the internet and to the Facebook pages and the website to Jeremy Halpin. Well, the fact of the matter is she did, but only after she was asked repeatedly. You won in April, and I know for a fact she did not turn that over until September 22nd, 5 months after you had won. So for her to try to make out like she was very quick to turn everything over and she was such a good person is frankly rubbish.
Her entire testimony was rubbish to the point where she even had to tell the court, can I tell the truth here?
Well, I would hope she was telling the truth all the time and not just at that moment.
And the fact is she told a lie.
Previously.
She actually told a lie when she said that. So,
yeah.
Okay, let's get to the show here. First off, Miss Liberty, what's happening? And for my national, don't turn away. They're going to learn things here that are happening in your area. This is systemic. I had Matt Couch on this morning. He was talking about Arkansas and the issues they've had with the GOP. The uniparty GOP, like Lindsey Graham's and the such, that are walking around with Ukrainian flags and wanting to go to war. These are the people that are working with the world government and the World Economic Forum and the such that are trying to bring us under one solid government. These are the people we need to actually purge from and I'll use the word, I got to get that button. This is the closest way. but it's not the same purge button. I'll get that on there. It's more fun. But when we are able to purge these people and bring it back to we the people so that we get past the apathy that put us here. Shannon, you are a major Politico. You've been in the game for a long time. Is my assessment correct?
Oh, it's spot on. It's 100% accurate. That's why I said this really goes back to the national level when you have Romney and Drew McKissick from South Carolina are now essentially co-chairs of the Republican Rhino National Convention, or chapter, whatever you want to call it, club, whatever they decide to call it, because it's only called what they want when it fits their narrative. So look no further. And she's a Romney family member. I mean, so this is nepotism. This is everything nefarious that you can think of in terms of how politics should not be done. And it's how it's being done at the national level as well as here in South Carolina. And as you mentioned, a multitude of other states.
Well, Shannon, you already got your first love on Getter. PhD Bunny said, I like Shannon's twang. So she's
South Carolina born and bred.
She's an upstate South Kakalaki chick. The rest of us here in Myrtle Beach ain't nobody. None of us are from Myrtle Beach. I promise you. So, all right, let's get to it. This is, let's see here. This is Reese going on the stand immediately. Is it 4? Yeah. All right. So this one is short, but it's important to hear. This is where you guys are going to, Miss Liberty, rhinos do suck. Yes, they do. And we are about to show you some. As a matter of fact, just so that some of my national, I don't know if I've done this yet. But this guy right here is the new HCGOP president. If you listen to the petulant child, Drew McKissick, the state chairman, who is now the co-chair with Ronna McDaniel. This is the guy that ran for Senate, and the Democrats got behind him in a very red state to run for Senate. Talk about selling your soul. But he's not really the chair. The chair's that guy in the dark room down there with the chiseled jawline. None other than Roger Slagle. It's a great last name. His own wife calls him Slagle. It's dope, right? It's a good name. Anyway, all right. Well, we're going to let this thing rip, and we will go from there. Hopefully it all gets in the same screen together. And here we go.
All of that, they'll decide who it is that is going to run the weekend.
Now, I got to say this, because the attorney you're hearing right now is our attorney, Bert Von Herman. His microphone didn't work very good, so you can hear it pretty good, but we're going to go ahead and give you, when it's bad, we will give you testimony. We've already gone through it with the transcript, so we'll tell you what he said or paraphrase, and it looks really cool. Shannon, it looks like Drew McKissick's like hanging out with you up there. I like it.
What's up, Shannon? Hi.
Look at that's the petulant child, Drew McKissick. This guy wears nothing but khakis and a blue jacket, gold buttons, because he is the poster child for political asshole. Anyway, sorry, my dad. Anyway, here we go.
In the GOP.
Is that something? Your Honor, with all due respect, when we first started this process, they just said, well, just get us a...
That guy, for those of you that are new, that is Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis & Boyd Law Firm, Myrtle Beach.
Letter from Drew, and that'll be sufficient. Well, you see in the attachments to the pleadings, there's like half a dozen letters from Drew. So that wasn't sufficient. So we're here. Now they're saying, oh, just make it about the SCGOP and we'll turn it over to the SCGOP and that'll take care of it. I think
his testimony is that we would have walked away and given away all assets, including the 30 G's that we have, and walked away from the Republican Party, given it to the petulant child, Drew McKissick, and his puppy, Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis & Boyd Law Firm. And they said that you said, or our lawyer said, and I'm going to continue before you answer that. I can see Roger chomping at the bit over here. But continue. This is what they're talking about as to how we get out of this. And Reese is saying, you all told me all we needed to say was the SCGOP was going to take the assets.
I think the case is properly structured. The plaintiffs are the plaintiffs. We brought this action not because we wanted to. We brought it as a last resort. And so now they're trying to say, let the SCGOP make the decision. It sounds an awful lot like what I heard initially, which is just give me a letter from Drew and we'll abide by whatever that letter would say. Well, we've got half a dozen attached to our complaint. They didn't abide by any of them. And now they want to make Drew McKissick the plaintiff in all this.
So the SCGOP's lawyer, Miss Hannah, showed up and out of the blue, and our lawyer was arguing the SCGOP is not listed as one of the plaintiffs or defendants. Why is the SCGOP sending an attorney? The argument was made by Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis & Boyd Law Firm, Myrtle Beach. He is arguing that, well, they said that if the SCGOP gave us a letter and the SCGOP did this, then they would walk away. And so he's trying, and this is where Brad Mayer, the magistrate of magistrate judge, who you'll hear, and if you like Shannon's twang, you're going to love this guy's PhD bunny. He is not an attorney. He has not gone to the bar, and he is just a magistrate appointed here in South Carolina. South Carolina being one of 2 states that appoints their judges. It's criminal. That being said, the judge, you can see the absolute bias, and I'm glad I have the national on here because you all need to listen to corruption within the courts. Now, I have no proof that the judge himself was corrupt, but I can draw, there's a lot of motions here that our lawyer could not get passed for the simple fact that the judge didn't want to hear it. Why? Because this establishment GOP owns it all, including but not limited to the lowest ranking Republican in the state of South Carolina, Luke Rankin, who is a 31% conservative voting record and is the 3rd most powerful man in the state of South Carolina because he is what? The chairman of the Judge Merit Selection Committee. Yep, that's right. This guy is the one that goes out there and says, ding, you're a judge. I don't care if you're a lawyer or not. So that should give you all a little back.
I think the parties before you are proper parties. As you said before we went to break, we have an interest in these proceedings just like they have an interest in these proceedings.
Wait, why would we have interest in this proceedings if we're not the party? Nobody? Okay. Exactly.
And if the court decides for some reason, in the court's wisdom, that the relief needs to be granted in favor of the SCGOP, they are a party. That's within the court's prerogative, I would submit, but I don't think there's any basis to strike any of the plaintiffs at this point. But the court can decide how it wants to decide.
They asked us to strike the plaintiffs, and because Von Herman said, well, since the SCGOP is trying to say these are their assets, then why are we going against Reese? They were never named, and the SCGOP knows that if they were actually named as a plaintiff, things get real weird real fast because they have no jurisdiction over anything in county politics or the HCGOP. But they're trying to play a game with the magistrate judge and the press that were there because the press loves who is owned by the Chamber of Commerce that gets $52 million of tourism tax money yearly that we don't get to know where it goes. Nepotism much. So that's what the argument is here to say, okay, Reese, go away. We're going to go with the SCGOP since they sent in a lawyer. Now Reese is fighting to stay in this fight because he has to protect who? The guy up there holding his ear. Drew McKissick, his daddy.
Just by way of clarification on it, I've never asked for a letter from Drew McKissick. I would have had him subpoenaed in today. I'm not sure where that comes from, but I don't doubt Mr. Boyd is.
It comes from our personal experience leading up to this litigation.
I mean, you said it was requested of him. I didn't request it.
It was one of the requests that was made of me, not from Mr. Von Herman, but amongst the parties as we tried to resolve this matter informally, well before the claim and delivery was ever filed, Your Honor.
So there you have Reese Boyd III, Esquire from Davidson Boyd Law Firm in Myrtle Beach. He is saying that, in fact, that we didn't need to do this because that they've been asking for it. Did you, Shannon or Roger, have anything to do with this by saying, because our attorney said, in no part of mediation did I say, give me a letter from the SCGOP. Did that happen to you, Roger?
No.
Well, Tracy and Jeremy Halpin, former other executives, Barbara Tracy, I know she's probably in the chat. Do you know of that? I mean, you're the chairman. Did that happen to anybody in our staff?
Not to my knowledge.
Shannon, were you aware of any of that ever happening? That the HCGOP stated that just give us a letter. Hey, Reese, it's cool. We'll go over here because you guys are stealing the party, but just
no, in fact, I would argue the contrary because we basically said the SCGOP had no say because this was a local county matter. And as Roger had never, ever resigned, he was still a duly elected chair. So why won't we ask for a piece of paper for something that we didn't need to have proven anyway? We already knew he was the chair.
Well, what's weird is we actually have a text here from none other than Kelly LaPetra to my wife. And if you see at the very bottom little bubbly dealer, Drew told me there is no interim chairperson to take over because right now Roger is still chairperson until September 30th. Roger rescinded his resignation on the 26th, which was never his resignation was never voted on by the governing body, the ECs. So here we have Reese lying in court, because I have you both here, and you're both saying that didn't happen. That Reese, part of some kind of mediation would be that you get a letter, Roger, and we'd all go on our merry way. That didn't happen.
Hand on the Bible. Never asked for that. Never said that.
You tickled Redbone over here. I'm not gonna lie. She's laughing. She doesn't laugh very much, but you got her on that one, Shannon. She busted. Talk about Christian, Southern Christian. You just busted out a Bible out of all that shit behind you.
I got about 5 of them back here.
I ain't mad at you, girl. Hoo-yah and hallelujah. All right. So we know that there's, I guess we'll play the drinking game. Although everybody got hammered last night because of Jerry. Every time she lied, you had to drink. So Reese is a little bit more coy because he is an Esquire from Davis and Boyd Law Firm in Myrtle Beach. And he's a little smarter than the average Hooters waitress. So here's where we have he's now been called a liar by all of you. He is still putting this on the record for the judge himself, who is not an attorney.
Well, I'm apt to go forward then. I guess we need to hear from the defense.
That is Judge Brad Mayer. For those of you that are keeping score, it would have took forever for me to put pictures up, but I like this picture of Reese here that was done by a friend of ours. It's pretty much says it all. So I just thought that would be fun to put up anyway. So here is Brad Mayer, who is now trying to say, well, I reckon we'll go forward because he has no basis not to.
And we'll go from there, but I don't want to cut my nose off to spite my face, I guess I'm trying to say. They did bring the case. We made a supplement to it, so I can't take it away. I can't supplement something and take away what I'm supplementing.
So what he's arguing is the fact that I had already said that the SCGOP can stand here. Now the SCGOP is going out of bounds in this court case, and the judge is like, well, I said they could be here, and if I tell them, well, now it makes sense for them not to be here, but if I do that, then I'm cutting my nose off, spite my face, and running around with a chicken and a rooster in the tractor or whatever. It's
like the Murdoch murder trial, Bobo and Ruru and Paw Paw and
Murdoch. And we're looking into the Murdoch case because all these people apparently went to law school together with Mr. Murdoch. So we will keep that going in the right direction here. Oh, wait, it happened here. Okay, we got this one. I'm sorry, I went backwards.
It's all right. We're not hearing anything, by the way.
Say what?
We aren't hearing anything, by the way.
What happened?
Yeah, we didn't hear anything. We thought you were
rewinding. You guys aren't hearing it, huh?
Yeah, the last thing we heard was the judge saying something about not cut my nose off, spite my face.
Oh, okay. Well, let me do this real quick. And Elizabeth, sing a song for everybody. And let me, All right, Shannon, sing.
Well, I will just tell you, rather than sing a song while you're figuring that out.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll just go straight at it. I find it very interesting that Reese, who is an attorney who should understand as a member of the court, that you don't bring anybody on the stand that is going to perjure themselves or perjure you. And the fact that he chose to pull Jerry McDaniel up on the stand as his witness, his only witness, never at.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
All right. Let's see if we get it here. All right. We're going to go ahead and play it out here. And sorry, everybody, a little technical difficulty.
Who it is that is going to run the Wake County GOP.
Is that so?
And if the court decides for some reason, in the court's wisdom, that the relief needs to be granted in favor of the SCGOP, they are a party. That's within the court's prerogative, I would submit, but I don't think there's any basis to strike any of the plaintiffs at this point. But the court can decide how it wants to decide.
Just by way of clarification on it, I've never asked for a letter from Drew McKissick. I would have had him subpoenaed in today. I'm not sure where that comes from, but I mean, I don't doubt Mr. Boyd has.
It comes from our personal experience leading up to this litigation.
I mean, you said it was requested of him. I didn't request it.
It was one of the requests that was made of me, not from Mr. Von Herman, but amongst the parties as we tried to resolve this matter informally, well before the claim and delivery was ever filed, Your Honor.
Hand to God, he's lying.
Well, I'm apt to go forward then. I guess we need to hear from the defense and we'll go from there, but I don't want to cut my nose off to spite my face, I guess I'm trying to say. They did bring the case. We've made a supplement to it, so I can't take it away. I can't supplement something and take away what I'm supplementing.
I guess that was the end of that clip. I just did all that shit for nothing. Anyway, you guys don't understand. There's so many exhibits here, and we are doing the best we can. And that's why I love my producers at Red Voice. They
said what he was really trying to say when he said he didn't want to cut his nose off. He really meant to say, I don't want to cut off the hand that feeds me, because the SCGOP attorney who was there for representing the SCGOP is the person who pays Luke Rankin annually about $1,000 to get him reelected. And Luke Rankin, of course, then keeps nominating Mr. Brad, even though he's got a DUI for driving on the wrong side of the road. Shouldn't be a judge, period. But he doesn't want to cut off the hand that's the guy that's giving him the job. That's what he meant to say.
Wait a minute. We have a judge. This Judge Mayer has a DUI?
Yeah.
Well, that's weird for all the firefighters and police officers that are out there watching it. Right now in Horry County, South Carolina, if you are arrested with suspicion of DUI, before you are out of jail from the night that you got arrested, you are to resign or be fired. Mm-hmm. Not after the court case, not unpaid leave. You're fired or you resign. He's got friends that got those charges dropped, even though he was driving on the wrong side of the road. And he still maintains the fact Correct. He's a lawyer that is not somebody that has gone to the bar. Now, look, I'm not really coming at Brad Mayer right now, and that's an interesting tidbit because it bothers me as a firefighter. I watch good firemen that went and had a little bit too much to drink, and they got a .08, and you shouldn't drive drunk, and they are terminated before they even leave the jail. Here's a sitting judge that is making decisions, and yet he's on the bench and was never terminated because of it or released of his bench. Am I correct?
Correct.
Appointed judges. Anyway, you can see he didn't want to spite his face because he made the first wrong decision. That being said, let me get rid of this guy and bring in the next bad boy. Roger, how do you feel that the judge overtly handled this case in itself?
Well, I think you'll probably get to it a bit later, but I think Mr. Von Herman cited some very, very important things as far as election law in South Carolina. I mean, they were basically ignored on this particular, one that you've been showing. Actually, I can't hear the audio either. It's kind of like it was last night. So I think what you were playing, the last thing I heard was the judge, basically allowing the SCGOP attorney to be in there. I mean, that absolutely shocked me as well. So I'm not completely sure what the last one was.
Well, I hope you can hear this one here. We'll turn it up for you. I'll turn up I might blow everybody up, but we'll see. I'll turn it up the best I can. Well, you got to remember, these are just from the microphones that were hot in the courtroom. Some you can hear real, like the judge, he has that thing in his mouth. First off, Real Miss Liberty thinks you're the shit, Shannon. She's a big fan, and apparently I need to DM somebody. I'm okay with it. I'll take care of it after this. And Thugzilla's all over the place. So this is what we need to fight. They realize this is what we need to fight. The national world is watching it on all networks with Red Voice Media and all of our other places. And this is why we need to expose this for what it is and this particular attorney. Here is actually Reese Boyd going to the stand.
They did bring the case. We made a supplement to it, so I can't take it away. I can't supplement something and take away what I'm supplementing. If that makes any sense, I'd be overruling my own ruling.
Roger, are you able to hear that at all?
I can hear it.
No.
All right, we'll have to keep you in it. You're probably because you don't have headphones, and you're coming through a computer.
No, I mean, I can hear you or Shannon, and I could hear the earlier audio clips, but like the last two, no.
All right. You're a
You want me to
technological.
go out and come in again?
I mean, no, I don't know what to do, but we got to keep going.
Okay.
So the judges.
Your Honor, the state
There we
recall
go.
raised Boyd to the stand.
Come on.
The
State?
recall. Been saying the state too long.
Yes.
That's some good old Southern boy stuff.
You're an officer of the court. I'm not going to make you swear. You are obviously know how it works. Go ahead. Any questions?
Okay, I need this is important because the judge just said to Reese Boy as he walked up and got in the witness stand that I do not need to put your hand on the Bible because you're an officer of the court. The officer of the court is all lawyers. They are considered officers of the court. They're not supposed to come into court and lie knowingly and do that. It would be against what? Ethics. It would be against who they are based on the Bar Association of South Carolina. Reese Boyd did not take the oath to be on that stand because he is considered an officer of the court, being an esquire here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at Davis and Boyd Law Firm. That's where you heard the judge say, you know what needs to be done. You're an attorney. And that becomes a very contentious situation here with Mr. Von Herman and Reese. And I want you all to listen to the tone of Reese Boyd III, Esquire, because it gets real uncomfortable on this thing for him.
How the resignation of the officers of the Republican Party, how the bylaws and law require them to do this.
So Mr. Boyd's asking, how does it work for a resignation of a Von Herman's asking, how does it work? He's asking Reese, how does it work for a resignation of an officer in the HCGOP based on bylaws and state law? That's what he asks old Esquire himself.
Well, that's an open question. My understanding is when you have a vacancy of all three offices, all the three executive offices, as we had in this case, then there is, at least in Horry County, there is something that we select at every.
First off, can we talk about the fact that that's not true? Because if it was an open question, why are we in court? It should be open and shut as a what is that word? Provision. Because we're going to learn that word real quick here. I actually have the definition right here. Provision. A legal provision means any federal, state, local, or foreign statute, law, regulation, judgment, order, or decree of any governmental entity. Legal provisions mean all statutes, laws, ordinances, rules, regulations, judgments, orders, and decrees of any governmental entity. Basically, a provision is something that people do not like, authority, hate. And you will hear that Reese Boyd likes this word, but it uses it in the wrong context because he's, in fact, a fraud.
Convention that's known as the provisional chairman. That provisional chairman is directed to call a special meeting at which time new officers are elected to replace the officers who've resigned.
Okay. And tell me about who votes on the replacement.
That would be members of the executive committee.
And
He said, tell me who votes based on that when somebody does resign and we have no executive team. Now, I want to stop there because Roger Slagle rescinded his resignation, which is going to mean something in a minute. He rescinded his resignation on September 26th, when he had initially, September 12th, said that my last day will be September 30th as the chairman of the GOP. On the September 26th special meeting, he was actually running elections to replace himself, the vice chair and the state executive committee person, walked up there with his crown on and said, "Not today, Satan. I'm staying as the chair," which he has absolute authority to do. Again, Shannon, you have dealt with bylaws and what you've looked at this.
Yes.
Am I right or wrong? I know that I had on my show Ken Richardson, the longest sitting chairman in Horry County, who said that Roger Slagle is 1,000% still a chairman, not Reese Boyd III, Esquire from Davis and Boyd. I would like your opinion, Shannon, having ran many women's groups and the such. Is this accurate?
According to the bylaws and Robert's rules, he is 100% still the chair. It was never any question. He was never not the chair.
So when he talks about vacancies and the such, never happened.
Correct.
Let's listen a little more.
Members of the executive committee, I think it was about 81.
He asked, was there the executive committee ranks, or there's about 81 executive committee members is what he asked.
I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but
Of course not. You haven't been to any of the meetings in a year.
Various people have been contacting us saying that they don't want to be involved, or they're not, they're resigning. But so it's a reflecting, it's a moving target. But at some point, that would have been an approximate number, yes.
So you would have had to have it.
Wait, isn't he the chairman supposed to be? Wouldn't you know how many ECs there are? Roger, do you know how many ECs there are in our party?
I do.
Thank you.
I don't agree with that, no.
He asked him, did you have quorum based on the ECs there to vote the night that you were elected? Based on that you needed 2/3 vote. Should I show him now?
Yeah, because he said he didn't agree with that.
Listen to shit. Yes, show it. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll talk about this real quick. Oh, look what I have. Section 2, election of the provincial Horry County Republican County Chairman at the first meeting of the county. You know what? We'll be back to this in a minute because we're going to get into that a little deeper, and we want it all to make sense. So, but Reese, we have the bylaws, just so you know.
There is a provision in the rules.
Again, the word provision. Remember, it's a whole bunch of laws and shit that we're supposed to pay attention to. That's important wording, especially coming from someone who has passed the bar and is considered an attorney.
Yep.
You all can see right there that it is what it is, and it's all real law and rule. This is important.
Verse, but first of all, we had a parliamentarian at the office, or at the meeting.
Shannon Grady or Roger, either one of you, is there anything known as an official parliamentarian? Every meeting we've ever had, and most of the time it's attorneys or judges when we have our convention, because they deal with Robert's Rule every day. Which is it a stretch for me to say that, as most parliamentarians are picked randomly because of their livelihood being an attorney or a judge, which Reese Boyd III Esquire is. That's why Esquire's after his name, of Davis and Boyd Law Firm in Myrtle Beach. Would it not necessarily and a parliamentarian is just somebody that maybe took a course or something? It is not a state, like he doesn't have a badge, right?
Correct.
No.
Correct. At this point in time, either Reese Boyd is a really, really bad lawyer or he's a really, really bad liar. It's one or the other.
Getter, what do you think? Let's go to the Facebook chat. They all just, yep, he's a liar. Okay. So here we go. Remember, we're talking about rule and law and all that. And
in the rule.
Excuse me?
Provision in the rule.
Provision in the rule. He's talking about a specific provision in the rule that made this all happen. And I'm going to get him for perjury right now.
Are you going to let me answer my question? Or?
You're a snappy little bastard, aren't you? Since you called me one, I figure it's fair, right? Look how snappy he is, because this gets bad. And little Reese in the cool hat starts to squirm.
The question is, did you have to have a quorum in order for the election to be valid?
The attorney asked, did you need a quorum in order for the election to happen? That was our attorney that said that, Mr. Von Herman, who eloquently said, is it not true that you need a quorum in order for this election to happen? For those of you who don't know what a quorum is a certain number that has to be met with the executive officers in order for votes to be had.
It is a meeting like any other meeting.
I need you all to remember that. Write it down on your little pencil for those of you that are taking notes. He said it was a meeting.
Like any other meeting.
Like any other meeting.
That he never attended.
You must have a quorum, yes.
And the quorum would be 53. Certainly 44 wouldn't be, correct?
I don't agree with that statement.
He said because you had 44 people there out of 81, that is not a quorum based on 2/3. He said, so you would agree that 44 is not, in fact, a quorum based on 2/3. And, of course, Esquire here, Mr., who is trained in Robert's Rule and the sort, said, I do not agree with that. Apparently, you don't need quorum with the guy in the cool bow tie.
If that is the math, yes. I mean, there's no magic number.
Well, I
Yeah, there is.
Number 2/3 of the EC.
No, I didn't.
There is a magic number, 2/3 of the ECs. Is now a good time?
He disagrees.
Okay, Elizabeth said no. He disagrees that 2/3 is in fact, which would be 54, the magic number. They had 44, is in fact not a quorum.
This is where he loses.
This is where Reese starts to realize that our attorney has information that Reese doesn't want him to have. And you start watching the little fella lose his shit.
Spinning out.
How do you disagree? Tell me
There is-
what you disagree with.
I was just trying to answer that when you stopped me. There is a
Arrogance at its finest, people. It gets worse. Get your popcorn.
parliamentarian who was appointed for the meeting, Larry Richardson. Thank you. Larry Richardson was the parliamentarian. There were individuals in this court.
Shannon Grady, are you familiar with Larry Richardson?
I am very familiar with Larry Richardson.
Does he work for the governor's office or the state house or the Senate as a parliamentarian in a position
No.
that we could consider him an expert?
No, he's a retired school teacher.
He's a retired school teacher. I'm going to ask you one more time. Has he ever been a judge, an attorney, or anybody else that would be required to understand Robert's Rules of Order? Uh-oh, here comes the other Bible.
No, he is not. Hand to God.
Ain't that a bitch? And
He's got a loud voice and a cowboy hat. That's about all I can say.
That's it. Yeah.
he has a cowboy hat. Okay, so a cowboy hat. Let's see. Yellowstone. Nope, don't remember parliamentarians there.
Involved in the counting, or excuse me, the qualifying of electors for that meeting. They conferred, Bert, I had nothing to do with it. Mr. Richardson brought out a provision from the bylaws that said if that meeting takes place within 30 days, that the simple majority is the requirement for quorum at that meeting. And Mr. Richardson declared at that time that there was a quorum for the meeting on that basis. Again, if anybody...
Whoops. This is important, folks. So we're going to show you a video, and I'm going to show you the bylaw that this little fella in the hat right here
I had nothing to do with it.
is obviously clueless, or since yesterday he put his only witness on the stand that completely perjured herself for not even being in the flipping building. This is evil personified.
But I had nothing to do with it.
The good news is evil personified with stupidity. They couldn't clean up their tracks, and we were able to catch them. Essentially, Elizabeth, little red person next to me, did it. So he spoke specifically to the provision. Remember this? Doop. All that legal shit. This is really serious when you use the word provision as an attorney. So a provision is specific. Am I right, Shannon and Ms. Slagle?
Correct.
All right. Mr. Slagle. Oh, shit. Excuse me, Mr. Slagle. Oh, yeah, I'm doing Judge Judy right now. This is me being the defense attorney. Not that Von Herman didn't do a good job. He killed it. Anywho, he talked about the simple provision that was that we all agree is a law, whatever, and he spoke specifically to it in its entirety. I would like to show you now, and if you will go down to Section 2. Section 2, elections of provisional Horry County Republican County chairman at the first meeting of the County Executive Committee after the party's convention. After the party's convention. That's the one big deal we have in May every 2 years. The County Executive Committee shall elect from among its members a provisional chairman of the party. The sole function of the provisional chairman shall be to assume the duties of the function of the chairman. And it goes on. In the event that both the chairman and or vice chairman positions should simultaneously be vacant and they are unable to serve. Hang on. Roger, have you ever not been serving as the chairman of the HCGOP?
No, it's been continuous since April of 2021.
Ain't that a bitch? If you remember, he speaks to a 30-day provision as if to say that 30-day provision launched all these other actions in order to make the guy in the cool bow tie the chairman of the HCGOP, which in fact is fraudulent based off of the following. I give you the bylaw again. The next paragraph here, the county executive committee must convene within 30 days to elect a permanent chairman and vice chairman to fill the extent vacancies. Okay, you remember the whole 30-day thing he said, right?
Yep.
The provision may be waived if a regularly scheduled county party convention is to be held within 90 days. Meaning, if we're at the end of our 2 years and we have our convention within 90 days, then we can just wait for convention to do, and the provisional county chairman will run it until said convention. We're above those 90 days. A quorum of the county executive committee shall be a majority of voting members. Okay, that's what he said. So far, what? But he didn't read all of it. A quorum of all other committees shall be the lesser of 25 members, 1/3. That's talking about committees. So what this entire paragraph, and tell me if I'm wrong, Chairman Slagle and Shannon Grady, this entire paragraph is talking about that of our convention.
Yep. But that middle paragraph is the one that's
wait. I'm the host.
Vacancy. Yeah.
Ma'am.
That's the one that's
mute
important.
your ass. Just let me do my thing here. So if you come to the next, and I'm going to show you how Reese Boyd III, Esquire, from the Davis & Boyd law firm in Myrtle Beach. This is what he forgot to tell everybody. In the case of a vacancy occurring in the office of chairman, vice chairman, or executive committeeman, a quorum for the purpose of electing an individual to fill the vacancy shall be 2/3 of the membership of the executive committee electing the replacement. A quorum at all conventions shall be a majority of the delegates thereto. So they're talking about convention in the one paragraph, and it just so you all can say that I'm not I'm putting Reese's words in Reese's boy or Reese.
Well, he has a different reason than the
But they went to the same thing because they didn't read it. So I'm going to play the actual situation. You're looking at me crazy.
The fake I'm going to put on a show, but this was planned because they sent out an email with the new bylaw that they made.
Right. So I'm going to show you the video where they came up with all of this and how they prostituted the law with Richardson, whoever this cowboy hat wearing parliamentarian is, who obviously is terrible at his job.
Yes.
Because he had a narrative. Because Mr. Slagle, is it not true that he was removed from a meeting once because he refused to not continue to disrupt the meeting?
Yeah, I think we gave him the proper warnings, two warnings or whatever on more than one occasion. I know one time he was trying to make a point of order during the invocation, and I took particular offense and didn't give him any leeway at all on that one.
He refused to let us pray. That happened, and he subsequently resigned from the HCGOP, and we have a letter on file of his resignation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So he's not even a member of the party as an executive committeeman that they counted during this.
As an ECC.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where Mike Connett, the circus performer, decided on how this election was going to be ran, and that they, in fact, did not need 2/3 quorum.
We have 47 warm bodies. Now, this is how I'm going to read this in this, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it. And once again, I'm sorry that we have to do this way. But in the section in our bylaws that addresses this specific meeting, it says basically.
Hang on a second. I'm going to do something better so I can stop it for you, but it'll take me 2 seconds here because we do need to break this up. And I'll put that guy there. There went that. We'll have to figure out where we were. So this is the meeting. I want to put this on top of it so you can read along with the mental midget that is Mike Connett.
All right. We have 47 warm bodies. Now, this is how I'm going to read this in this, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it. And once again.
I hate to do this.
But I'm going to do this.
But I'm going to do this because he knows he's breaking bylaw. He knows that this is not right. 47 is not 2/3. Do you remember when Reese Boyd on the stand said that this was a regular meeting, not a convention?
Sorry that we have to do this way. But in the section in our bylaws that addresses this specific meeting, it says basically Section 2, election of provisional Horry County Republican County Chairman. And most of you folks, I sent that with my first email so that you would understand it. So this is the line that's basically we're going to deal with here. The county executive committee must convene within 30 days to elect a permanent chairman and vice chairman to fill the extant vacancies. This provision may be waived if a regularly scheduled county party convention is to be held within 90 days.
He's reading it verbatim, right? Watch what he doesn't read.
This is the important part. A quorum of the county executive committee shall be a majority of voting members. Get it? So what that means is if we have 80 precincts and we have 47 people here right now, then we can go ahead and conduct a meeting.
Pull that. What rabbit hat did he use to pull that out?
There you go, folks. And what he forgot to, and the sentence before that, he actually even gives inflection to scheduled county party convention is to be held within 90 days. A quorum of the county executive committee shall be a majority of voting members.
Only for convention.
Notice how he did, and he actually sent this out in email to everyone in this shit show. So that he already had it planted in their tiny skull. And so that he could say that, see, this is what we're going to have to do. But why would the circus performer say, we need to, in fact, I hate doing this? Because he knew he was wrong. He did not read the part that actually has to do with being in a regular meeting and replacing the chairman and vice chair. In case of a vacancy occurring in the office of the chairman, vice chairman, or executive committeeman, a quorum for the purpose of electing an individual to fill the vacancy shall be 2/3.
Which Priest did mention, so he knew.
Exactly. So there it is. That now I've got to bring the other shitty thing back because this thing got stupid, or I did. One or the other. Could be either way. I'm sure Reese thinks I'm stupid, but gotcha. Anywho, I'm gonna have to bring this up a little bit, and we'll play it out.
You're asking me to interpret the rules. I'm telling you.
All right, let me put the boxes back right, and I think I gotta go back here a little bit more. There we go.
There is a parliamentarian who was appointed for the
Nailed it.
meeting, Larry Richardson. Thank y'all. Larry Richardson was the parliamentarian. There were individuals in this courtroom who were involved in the counting, the qualifying of electors for that meeting. They conferred, Bert, I had nothing to do with it. Mr. Richardson brought out
That was Freudian. I had nothing to do with it. He covers his tiny ass a lot.
From the bylaws that said if that meeting takes place within 30 days, that the simple majority is the requirement for quorum at that meeting.
Drink. We've already proven that's a lie. 1,000% a lie.
And Mr. Richardson declared at that time that there was a quorum for the meeting on that basis. Again, if anybody who wanted to object to that had attended the meeting, had been there, they could have raised an objection, a timely objection under Robert's rules at that time.
Now, let me lose my shit for a second, because here's the thing. The quorum is used as a weapon based on the fact that we would not recognize them for trying to take over the HCGOP. Every one of the actual ECs, which we had 2/3 quorum when we had our election not long after this, because they can't even get 2/3. These are malcontents that are trying to be pissy because, I don't know, they got put in their place. I don't care. But at the end of the day, as far as we, the people, and the rules as they are written, he's trying to simply prostitute them to make them work for him.
But then brings up Robert.
He brings up Robert's rules and then uses them as a weapon again. Nobody from the actual HCGOP that supports Roger Slagle and our actual duly elected, and that's important too, the duly elected by the people of Horry County, which was in fact Roger Slagle. This dumbass is now saying that, well, you had an opportunity to be there to throw up a flag.
After an illegitimate meeting.
Shannon Grady, before you decided to be with the cool kids like us instead of the Pirates, were they not sent there? And I believe it was Reese Boyd said, I plan on going to the ACGOP meeting to throw some gas on the fire, meaning they were going to come and be disruptive and try to cause hell. Was that not a standing order for the GOP Pirates? Yes or no?
Yes.
There you go, folks. So, one, why would we give them any credence whatsoever when we know that the man with the chiseled jaw down there, Roger Slagle, actually is, in fact, still the HCGOP chairman? And we would not go there to throw anything up in the air to say this is wrong because, one, we would probably be removed or there would be a fight breakout because they've tried to fight me twice. Yes? Oh.
Well, Chad, I'll throw in just another point. At the end of the day, what is important under, party bylaws as well as parliamentary rules is who calls the meeting. So Conant was calling this as provisional chairman. If there was no chairman vacancy, that's totally illegitimate.
Correct.
Okay. So this is an email that Roger wrote to the Horry County Republicans stating that I am, in fact, the chairman. Some of you received various emails from Mike Conant set from the email address, blah, blah, blah. The claims of Mr. Conant as provisional chairman of the HCGOP are both illegitimate and unnecessary due to the fact that I rescinded my resignation prior to the stated effective date. Therefore, remain the duly elected chairman. Mr. Conant has also sent an email to ECs and other members about an election meeting on Tuesday, October 11th, 2022. Please be assured that I have not called for or organized a meeting. Is it not true that the bylaws state that the only person that can call an official meeting of the HCGOP is, in fact, the chairman of the HCGOP?
That's correct.
All right. As mentioned in my communication last week, we have full intentions of moving forward with the business of this party, including the filling of existing vacancies, namely vice chairman and state EC at the meeting, which has been called for November 7th, 2022. We attempted to accomplish these elections at the special meeting in September 26, 2022. However, the disruptors at the special election meeting made a motion to adjourn, which received sufficient votes to adjourn before any candidates for the vacant positions could speak. According to the HCGOP bylaws, a quorum of 2/3 of ECs will be required to move forward with the elections of officers where vacancies exist, which we plan to accomplish November 7th, 2022. I also encourage all my patriots to focus on the important matters at hand, namely the critically important 2022 midterm elections of November 8th, 2022. Please feel free to reach out through phone call or email to answer any questions or concerns. I look forward to seeing you all November 7th. Thanks and best regards, Roger Slagle, HCGOP chairman. There you have it. He even sent a letter letting them all know. Now, what happened was on the 26th, when he rescinded his resignation, the petulant child, Drew McKissick, lost his shit. He had his opportunity to take over the GOP of Horry County, one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful, based on its tax base, to take back and bring it to his little harem, if you will, because they're all sluts to him in the other counties. They all bend to Drew McKissick. That being said, he had an opportunity and he felt he could take it. But every bit of this, and this is why it never went to actual court, not this magistrate crap. It never went to actual court because they would lose. They would lose handedly because not only is it a little bit that they messed up all of it. They didn't do any of it right. And they're basically just steamrolling with the immoral and unethical person that you see in the pirate hat right there that is self-proclaimed a GOP pirate. Did I miss anything there, kids?
No, that's accurate.
Great summary.
Here is the actual cease and desist letter because Roger, being the duly elected chairman, actually spent money to let them know under no certain circumstances that they are, in fact, out of bounds. They are out of bounds. They are breaking rules, and they are doing what they're doing. That being said, he sent a cease and desist letter to Reese Boyd III, Esquire, of 82. I'm not going to say their address. That's not necessary. Mike Conant. See how I'm ethical? Isn't that weird? Michael Conant, the pretend guy with the hair, and Robert Visconti, the guy that felt all bubbly and thought he could fight me because we found out that they were trying to set me up to hit him. Weird. That tape's coming out soon too. Regarding cease and desist letter purporting to be officers of the HCGOP, we actually hired someone to serve them this. Am I correct, Mr. Slagle?
That is correct.
Okay. We'll get to that in a minute. Each of you know I was elected chairman of the Horry County Republican Party, HCGOP, in the convention held April 2021 with an initial term ending in April 2023. As the duly elected chairman of the HCGOP, please allow this correspondence to formally request you cease and desist from misrepresenting yourselves as elected officers of the HCGOP. This includes any comments, posts, or other inaccurate representations on social media platforms, e.g. Facebook, any other written and verbal communications, the purported holding of unauthorized HCGOP meetings, and allowing others to do such acts under your misrepresentation authority, see Exhibit A. None of you have been officially elected as county officers in the HCGOP, in addition to refraining from future inaccurate communications and posts. I further request you delete or have them deleted all prior posts and retraction of communications purporting that you are the officers of the HCGOP. Your actions and failures to act are damaging to the HCGOP. If you do not agree to comply with the request contained within this letter within 2 days, the HCGOP will have no choice but to seek an appropriate relief from the court, including monetary sanctions and other available damages. Please let me know if you have any questions regarding this letter or would like to discuss this matter further detail. Thank you in advance for your attention and cooperation. Respectfully, Roger Slagle, Chairman, Horry County Republican Party. So not only did you send out an email to all the members, you also sent a cease and desist to the fella in the hat, Michael Connett, and the other guy. He doesn't matter.
Visconti.
Yeah, that day. You did everything you could to, in fact, fight this the proper way. Am I correct in saying? I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah. I think we went out of our way to inform our people, plus to basically tell them, you're not legitimate.
We just proved that they had an election of no 2/3. They did not. We've proven the law. The law. Remember this thing? Remember the provision that came out of the Slick Willie lawyer, Mr. Pirate? Anywho, don't get crazy. I can't stand this shit. These people are evil and they're disgusting scumbags. I'll say it because this is about elections. We have a huge problem nationally, and these are supposed to be Republicans. Republicans, remember? Democrats were Reese Boyd. Here we go. Please join us as Mr. Boys has endorsed by conservation voters who are fighting unprecedented road projects and who cares about the environment. Mr. Boyd has taken the time to reach out to Democrats and seek our support. Facts. So with that being said, let's continue.
Yeah, Chad, is it any wonder if we can't get county elections, party elections correct, why we can't get national elections correct? If we can't even get the local party elections done correctly and legally, is there any surprise that we can't get national elections done correctly?
I am surprised because we're supposed to be the party of right. And that's when we have uncovered and why I have been working diligently to spread this word across the nation based off of the fact that these are evil people that are answering to a higher power. This guy is an attorney, went to school for God knows how long, passed the bar, did whatever after his car wreck when he was younger, and then turned into an attorney that as a wife and kids and is trying to live a life. You'd think he would be a stand-up person in community and have a little radio show preaching some proverbs with politics. But this is, in fact, the evil, lying, deceitful, unethical, immoral concept of who we're dealing with here. Yep, and these people need to be eradicated from our party because this is why the Republican Party is inept and at war right now across this country. Is that a fair determination?
Yeah, uniparty all day long.
This is the problem, America, right here. It may be here, but I promise you it's happening in your area too.
To object to it now, we're not there. They chose to ignore all those proceedings and raise these objections months later in a court of law, which is entirely inappropriate.
It is not entirely inappropriate when you're a piece of shit that tries to step on Roger Slagle with the simple fact that you are trying to prostitute the bylaws to make it work for your dumbass to have some sense of power because you've lost every damn election you've ever been in. This isn't that way it's supposed to be. Roger Slagle's the duly elected, and then you want to sit on a high horse in the middle of court, lying your ass off, and tell America and the court that we are inappropriate for fighting for what is duly elected. The entire country should be fighting for this. Is that overreach? Am I wrong in saying that?
Nope.
No. This is the problem. This is absolutely the problem because this dude in the stupid bow tie wants some cheese from the big table.
And it's his, and he's going to take it.
That's just it. Screw you. I'm taking it. That's not the way this government works. You want to talk about Bolshevik brown shirt Nazis? I give you Exhibit A. Mother, I hit the wrong button.
No doubt that we both agree, as parliamentarian matters, that 2/3.
I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. Oh, I went way too.
Objection under Robert's rules at that time.
There we go.
But the people, your clients who want to object to it now, were not there. They chose to ignore all those proceedings and raise these objections months later in a court of law, which is entirely inappropriate.
So you're going to disagree with me as a parliamentarian, or are you going to say the parliamentarian overrules the rules of the way?
No.
So he's asking, does the parliamentarian, which is just some guy in a cowboy hat, can overrule the HCGOP, the ECs, and the interim any of the chair? He has ultimate power, apparently, is what Von Herman is asking.
I'm telling you that the parliamentarian present at the meeting, who was duly selected for the meeting,
duly selected by who?
Don't confuse it with duly elected. He was just selected. You shall be the one.
Duly selected by who? The guy in the stupid hat? Because I'm not familiar with any bylaw or anything in regards to our because at convention they just say, hey, here's Judge so-and-so, who's usually 400 years old, who is our parliamentarian for convention. He's actually standing on an ideological hill ready to die on it because some guy in a cowboy hat took a weekend course and said he's a parliamentarian because he's probably a huge asshole in his HOA. Is that fair to say?
Seems to be the case.
Duly elected. Would that not mean that there wasn't an actual election to put him there?
No, because he was selected.
Duly
not
selected.
elected.
Okay, my bad.
made a determination based on his review of the rules that we had a quorum.
And so what if he's wrong?
Well, if he had been wrong, if your folks had been there to object, they could have objected. But
again, it's our fault because we didn't show up to a fake GOP meeting that is trying to steamroll and take away from the duly elected Roger Slagle. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, chiseled jaw fella. That's your guy, and this guy is trying to prostitute it into something he didn't. And a guy who has been removed multiple times from the actual GOP, who resigned, who has obviously got a corncob up his ass and is pissed off, came to be their parliamentarian. And I just read you, here it is again, it's all right here. They picked and choose what they chose to read about. The very paragraph that Mike Conant read that was given to him by the piece of crap parliamentarian who's got a bubble on his ass actually said that he was talking about a convention, not this particular situation, even if Roger, in fact, vacated the seat, which he never did. Scumbags.
Again, Mr. Boyd, I understand you're an attorney, but I asked the question.
I know it's a...
Shannon, has quorum been used as a weapon before to not get something passed in other, say, county councils, city councils? Is that not so? By us not showing up and them not having 2/3, essentially by Robert's rule, they didn't have a meeting, so our weapon worked. Yes or no?
Yes.
Roger?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I would go beyond. It's more than just parliamentary rules. It's black and white in the bylaws.
Black and white. That's not racist. That's true. And the thing is, I actually watched it happen in county council when they were trying to bring up stuff that they didn't want, and they walked off and did not have quorum, and the meeting was over.
Yep.
This is part of Robert's rules.
I know it's a...
Robert's an ass, by the way, but he's helping us here. I don't know who that Robert guy is, but I don't like him.
occupational hazard.
We all get involved in it, I understand. But at the same time, no doubt that we both agree, as parliamentary matters, that 2/3 would be a four.
So he's saying, take the parliamentarian out of it. We can all agree that 2/3 makes a quorum for this particular situation. Here's Reese.
We don't agree. In this instance, I've just explained to you why that's not the case.
Again, you're saying with the parliamentarian group.
The parliamentarian was, you're asking me to interpret the rules. I'm telling you that
It says right here, Reese, you dumbass, in the case of a vacancy occurring in the office of chairman, which they say happened. Oh, crap, I got to drink.
That's
Vice chairman or executive.
And know nothing.
Exactly. Vice chairman or executive committeeman of a quorum and purpose of electing an individual to fill the vacancy shall be 2/3 of the membership of the executive committee electing the replacement. He is lying his ass off on the stage. He is saying, you want me to interpret bylaws? Are you not the pretend chairman? Is that not your job? Roger Slagle, was it not your job to interpret bylaws?
I think, yeah. I mean, you've got to look at the bylaws. There are always going to be some ambiguities. You're going to have to go to parliamentary rules. But in this case, it's just so evident. I mean, it says there in plain language that a 2/3 quorum is required to fill a vacancy.
Although chair, vice chair, state EC. It's very specific.
And I don't know. I haven't checked the Facebook. Elizabeth's making dog food for Baby D. He's had a rough day. And I'm not seeing it anywhere, but Getter's saying they think we're getting throttled, but I'm not seeing it on my end. So hopefully it's just Getter thing, but I don't know. Getter, we love you. I hope we're not getting throttled. I know that there's a bunch of you watching. So anyway, we'll move on until I can see we're being throttled. But you're right. It is red. It is black and white. And here Reese is trying to prostitute it to make it work for his narrative. Now, remember, he's sitting on the stand. He's also the attorney, bringing the case as the plaintiff, and he's the chairman he's trying to save his job that was promised to him by none other than the petulant child, Drew McKissick, and the rest of the establishment buttholes.
Nothing to do with determination, by the way.
Tell me where it is. The rule is the Republican Party. You're the chairman. You ought to know these things backwards and forwards. Tell me.
He slammed the book on the table and says, show me where this is a law or a rule. Watch this little dweeb freak out right now. Just watch it. And it's glasses. It's a whole thing. I feel like he needs to call his doctor. I don't even know. This guy is having a myocardium farting, and it's happening right here on the middle of the stage in the middle of Conway Courthouse. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the unwinding of the third.
May I refer to my notes?
No.
That's the policy. I mean, that's what we got. That is.
Why would you need to refer to your notes when he just gave you the damn rules? He gave you the book. Point to the damn rule. Hey, Reese, watch how easy this is. Dun, 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 boom. I even did it electronically so everybody could see it at home. It says right there, you dumbass, 2/3. Now you need to look at your notes because you wrote down how you were going to prostitute this shit to make it work for you. You are just a dirtbag. And the thing is, you're going to fall on this sword so hard that it's not just going to Harry carry. It's going to buckle your chest. I mean, this is just the most egregious thing that I've ever heard in my life. And I watch Cops every day. I even watch that court one. It's awesome. The only thing, nobody got punched in this courtroom. That's the only thing that would make it cool. But the lie that came off of the stage is nuts. And here he is saying, well, look, can I check my notes? No. And you can hear Von Herman saying, you don't need your notes. There's the rules right there. Flip to the page where it says the parliamentarian can override anybody. Sorry, I'm getting fired up.
The provision that the parliamentarian relied upon, there is. No, I'm good. Let me get my glasses.
Spitting.
I'm good. I need glasses. I think Von Herman actually tries to hand his glasses to him. And he's like, no, I'm fine. What he's trying to do, buy some time because he just realized, and this is the moment in time where Reese Boyd III realized he's fooked.
Mm-hmm.
Von Herman's just talking about how I'm old. He's trying to keep the Southern gentlemanly stuff. This is why I could never be an attorney. I'd be up there body slamming people.
Bert, again,
Ms. Boyd, if you don't know, you don't know.
I don't recall the chapter and verse, but I can tell you from my.
Von Herman said, if you don't know, you don't know. It's okay. Holy shit, he even gave him a life preserver. But the arrogant little fella couldn't let that go.
My recollection of the meeting is that Mr. Richardson, who was the parliamentarian for the meeting.
Here we go with the parliamentarian. He loves this guy. He is the greatest shit since life. Shannon and Roger, He doesn't work for the Senate, the House. He's not official parliamentarian. He's a cowboy hat wearing old fella that went to a weekend course. Okay. He
Now he's
really,
being thrown under the bus.
and he can't point to anywhere that a parliamentarian can overrule or make a decision in any way, shape, or form.
I would interject that I hear the sound of constipation.
Reese is definitely having a movement.
Involved in the establishment or declining to establish the presence of a quorum, made a determination that a quorum was present based on the provision that says, and I believe, I don't know if you've got the local rules in here, but there's a specific local rule.
You mean these?
Who makes the final determination?
Well, the final determination is the chairman's determination, but the chairman is generally going to rely on the determination of the parliamentarian.
Chairman, what do you rely on?
I rely on the rules, whether
Wait, these? This right here?
Yeah, that's called a bylaw.
Holy shit, that's crazy. You mean the thing you heard thump on the witness stand that he handed the pirate? Is that a safe assumption?
I think that's a fair statement. And like I said, there's always going to be some areas of ambiguity, but for me, that there's no ambiguity.
No, sir, there is no ambiguity. It says it right here. And I'm not going to read it again because Peggy Bush is going to yell at me and be like, Chad, we heard it 4 times. Stop saying it. Elizabeth, can you check Facebook and see what they're saying on there, just in case? But here's the problem. Reese is going to the parliamentarian again, which we've shown everything, and Von Herman is so patient.
And so if that's not properly recorded, you would know that, right?
If what is not properly recorded?
Well, I'll tell you what, watch this video for me and see if it helps your memory. Maybe it'll...
Okay, everybody, pull your straps real tight because Reese Boyd III just sees the devil or a ghost or whatever because he turns inside out. And what he's asking him is, if you're the chairman and you're there and the vote was for you, would you not, in fact, as an attorney at the very least, which lives in this world, Esquire, would you not know how to read this, even me as the firefighter, in case of vacancy occurring in the office of chairman, vice chairman, or executive committeeman? By the way, never left the office. Roger would never left. A quorum for the purpose of electing an individual to fill the vacancy shall be 2/3 of the membership of the executive committee electing the replacement. A quorum at all conventions shall be a majority of the delegates thereto. Speaking directly to the idea of a convention in comparison to a meeting to fill a vacancy, which they never had. Right. Holy shit, is this one big ugly hooker of a way they're trying to get to it. I mean, guys, the word prostitution doesn't even do it justice. But they are trying to prostitute the law to make it work, and you have a judge who does not understand our bylaws, not in the party, whatever, and you'll see that the SCGOP attorney comes in and saves the day here directly. But this is where Mr. Von Herman said he's had enough. So what you're listening to is the video I showed you earlier of Mike Connett doing the roll count and them saying, I don't want to do this, but the parliamentarian. So this is where you can actually hear it and how they do not have 2/3 based on the numbers. And you're going to hear a voice that is my intern who was there to film, Grant Adams. They're trying to get the total of the executive committee members they have right now.
I don't understand what.
So as Reese realized that, holy shit, this is a recording and video of said meeting that they didn't know we had. Mm-hmm. You can hear Reese be like, and you hear Von Herman in his best Marge Simpson. Listen, I love Bert. Good guy. They've even brought the quorum down to 79 because of bullshit when the quorum is actually 81. They prostituted it, and they actually had presidents there that didn't have a right to vote at all. This is where it gets really ugly, and this is where Reese doesn't know what to do, and the SCGOP attorney goes full tilt. Where she gets the right to do so, I don't know. That was my intern.
And I'm sure they're counting Don Bound and Reese, who are not ECs anymore.
There's about 10 people that did not deserve to be counted, but we're not going to go into that because it's just stupid. But we can prove it. We have the receipts, as they like to say.
And adding other people in that weren't even on the list, like Stockline Filters Precinct. His president's here, but he didn't give proxy.
Who took this video?
But they said,
Who took this video? Not what are the numbers? Not is this what? You hear this moron say in the middle of court with a judge 2 feet from him, who took this video? Because shit just got real. Now watch how the law is prostituted. It is so sickening. You're probably going to throw up your popcorn.
You got a foundation?
Again, you answer the question. All right.
Your Honor.
Here is the video that proves everything. And Reese Boyd, who's on the witness stand, who is to act as a witness, not an attorney,
Correct.
is now saying, do you have foundation? Meaning, stop playing this because you don't have foundation or some other legal bullshit that he wants this to stop, which tipped off his little SCGOP friend, who God knows where they came from, Miss Hannah. And apparently she's a
Luke Rankin fundraiser.
Say again?
The Luke Rankin fundraiser.
Correct. The guy that appoints the magistrate judges who do not have a law degree.
I'm going to object to this. This documentation or this video, I don't know if it's a video or an audio. I certainly haven't seen it. There's no foundation that's been properly laid. It's
Y'all know when they do that gangster thing and they put the glasses, it's like da-na-na-na-na because somebody says something awesome. Von Herman's about to get it.
proper to admit this.
I learned that from 3 hours ago. They were involved in this. I couldn't have given it to them.
She's been admitted as a party, Your Honor. She gets to object if she wants to object.
Who is it?
And more importantly, Your Honor, it's completely irrelevant to the one issue that's before the court right now.
It's actually completely relevant.
Of a half page of personal property.
So now the SCGOP says this isn't about who's in charge. This is about property. See how they switched that? Now it's, I am the chairman of the Horry County Republican Party. My name is Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davis and Boyd Law Firm.
And this is the moment I would have gone to jail.
You and me both. And here is where we have the problem, where now the SCGOP attorney is jumping up and saying, this is about a claim and delivery, meaning they have this property and it's supposed to be ours, when it's supposed to go to the duly elected. Von Herman really tries to get this through Judge Mayer's head. It's dense or corrupt. I don't know which.
Or brain cells from alcohol.
It has to be the duly elected official of the claim.
But, Your Honor, if they were claiming that we're not the duly elected officers of the party, they sent people in to record the meeting, but they didn't attend the meeting. They could have objected to all this, and it would have been timely, and it could have been discussed pursuant to Robert's Rules of Order if they had been there.
We do not have to be there because Roger Slagle never vacated the seat. You took an opportunity to prostitute this into with your state GOP piece of shit that you have sitting in Columbia because he doesn't like us. He never, ever looked at us. He never, ever wrote back an email to Roger Slagle, Tracy Beans, or anybody else. He would not talk to us. As a matter of fact, he tried to put events on top of ours to try to hurt us. Reese Boyd III is a puppet in Drew McKissick's world. And this is how far they're willing to go. We don't know what Reese was promised, but damn if it ain't making him look bad. And it needs to make him look bad. This is where the term, you made the bed, you lie in it. And Reese Boyd is proving that right now and can't answer to it because he expected us to come to his bullshit meeting that he is trying to circumvent as a flipping pirate. They named themselves pirate to take over this HCGOP. Why in the hell would we go there when we use quorum as a weapon? We do not recognize you because we hold $30,000 in the bank and all of the assets. And we, as in us in the HCGOP, under the direct guidance of none other than the chairman of the HCGOP and Roger Slagle. Screw you, Reese. Here comes, this is where they say shit's coming to roost. You got enough to answer about by putting a witness up that completely lied her ass off.
And send somebody in to record it and pipe it out to them so they could broadcast it on the internet.
Makes you mad, don't it?
And this is a different situation, and I don't really like it, but there is a rule where an attorney becomes a witness.
So now he's calling Reese out for stop. He's a witness in the witness box. He is to stay a witness, not an attorney, and he's calling Reese out to start acting like a witness.
While they're on the scene.
Oh.
And they cannot argue from the witness stand. What this amounts to.
Do you hear him laughing? Do you hear the arrogant prick laughing? And I'm sorry if you don't like my language, but I have been attacked by this dude. Go read the telegrams. It's really hard to turn the cheek, but I'm not turning the cheek. I'm actually taking the fight to you with your own words, you dumbass.
Is contradicting everything that they have put before the court, which is there is not a quorum, and nowhere in this is a parliamentarian or anyone else. And in fact, later on in the video, you will actually hear the provisional person go, we're just not going to deal with it.
He's talking about.
I believe that the election is not a valid election, and they are not the duly elected officials. I attempted to not have to go down this road.
Objection, Your Honor.
Which is exactly what I said. I've got to determine who's the chief and who's not.
But you don't have the purview to do that, Judge.
And that's what I'll have to do.
The original argument of Bert von Herman was that this is not the right venue for this because you do not have the purview, Judge Mayer, to decide on who is in fact the chairman without discovery and everything else is why it would go to civil court.
Correct.
You chose to keep this in your court because somebody told you to. I'm damn sure of that. And or you just felt like you wanted to get beat up for 5 hours. I don't know which. Either way is sketchy to me. But here's the thing. You just realized, and you just heard the judge say it, that y'all want me to figure out who the chair is. Well, if it's a claim and derivative, you do not have to figure out who's what.
Yep.
Exactly. This is why we call this judge, and we ask this judge to fix it based off of what has happened with the testimony we heard last night was absolutely fabricated in a criminal way, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. Reese is just lying to lie, but I digress.
Well, perjury.
But I mean, she gets the objective. I mean, there's no foundation. We don't know who took it and all that other good stuff. I know it's the magistrate's court and we got lax, but we're dealing with at least 3 attorneys. So, yeah, it comes back in to play. Now, granted, I'm not an attorney. I understand that, but I do.
Here's the judge. Everybody's calling your honor, but I'm not an attorney. But I'm going against 3 y'all, right? How in the wide world of sports does that make sense in any way, shape, or form in the United States of America? I will not know. And I'm sure Brad Mayer is a fine person. But here's the problem. This is above your pay grade. This is above your purview. And you should have stopped the court proceeding immediately and sent it to a court that could actually adjudicate this based on discovery. And then I would have been on the stand. Wouldn't that have been super duper? Hoorah. Now, here's the problem. He continues on. And he just continues on, and you can hear it in his voice that he wants nothing to do with this. He realizes he has bit off the wrong piece of meat.
A little bit of the civil procedure, so we got what we got.
Now it's a civil procedure when it should have went to civil court.
Oh, my God. This
It could have
judge is
been
an idiot.
It could have been stopped immediately. He chose to continue. We got what we got. No, you effed up.
So,
If I may just phrase this in the form of an answer to Mr. Vaughn.
He has to phrase it as an answer because he's still on the witness stand. He just got yelled at for acting as an attorney from the stand.
Herman's question, Your Honor. Whatever that video says or doesn't say, there was a parliamentarian present.
Here we go. The parliamentarian in the cowboy hat from Yellowstone coming up to tell everybody about his weekend bullshit that he prostituted out so that he'd make it work to take the power away from Roger Slagle because Roger Slagle removed him for being an ass in the middle of our meetings. He is obviously bent out of shape and didn't want it, so he's there to step on his own moral or ethical code wherever junior college or online piece of paper he got as a parliamentarian because he represents no ethics or concepts in being a professional parliamentarian in any way, shape, or form.
The parliamentarian rule.
Objection, Your Honor. If you can allow the witness to answer the question.
There is no question.
Okay.
What I want him to do is watch the video, and then my next question is going to be, is this how you remember the meeting?
Bert Von Herman just wants him to say, is this how you remember the meeting to happen? Reese Boyd III, Esquire from Davis & Boyd Law Firm of Myrtle Beach.
Reading this way?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this again. I have
course
not
you
seen
are.
this video. This video has not been produced.
This is the greatest shit ever, and I wish I had the music for da-na-na-na-na. Bert Von Herman is a savage.
If this secret video should not ever pop up in a court proceeding. If they had this video, it should have been produced a long time ago. This hearing's been scheduled for over 30 days. If they had this video, there's no room in this courtroom for surprise attacks, especially when we've never seen it. I don't know what's on it. It's not been provided to Mr. Boyd or to me.
yes.
Surprise attacks like lawyers that show up at the court hearing and lawyers that, yeah.
You mean like a surprise attack when a corporate attorney shows up that has nothing to do with the case? You mean like that, you dumbass? Yeah, that's what we're talking about because we have the proof of a video. Now we go into the part of this video, and we're almost done, folks, but we go into the part of the video where now watch how they, as in the judge, the Miss Hannah and Mr. Boyd all sit there and try to make us all believe that this video has absolutely zero to do with what's going on here. It is egregious at best. I hope the bar's watching.
I'm going to put my parliamentary hat on.
There you go.
There is no discovery.
There's no discovery, but then again, there's rules of evidence that have to be presented. And of course, foundation has to be given of who took it and when they took it and all this fun
That's
stuff.
exactly right, Your Honor.
So
Do y'all notice how rules seem to work for the other side? Like there's no discovery and we have lax shit, but we don't have enough lax stuff to see an actual Facebook page that went live for the whole thing. It says live in the corner, stream live. And all of a sudden, this isn't admissible now. But somehow or another, the 6 letters that Drew McKissick, who, by the way, is not in the building, we're just supposed to accept. And by the way, the attorney, Miss Hannah, is hired by the SCGOP for this one specific deal. She is not she is not an attorney that is on particular payroll and works for the SCGOP. She was hired to be a gun to babysit baby Huey here.
I got to go with that. I just can't. I've got to grant her objection to it because we hadn't had any foundation whatsoever.
Plus, I don't know what that word means.
Plus, they realized that I had a show and I had to go because it took forever. And Elizabeth and I had to go, and I'd be damned if I was going to leave my wife there with people that we've heard on recordings that are setting us up to try to hurt us or otherwise. I was not going to leave her there. I had a show to do, and I went home. They knew we weren't there, and they tried to. Now they're going down that road saying the people that filmed this are not in the court. There is no standing. They cannot be cross-examined. This is where the judge is trying to use it, but he's going to accept who he's never seen a letter from or known from Drew McKissick as a letter of standing to make any judgment. Or for that matter, listen to Jerry McDaniel, who lied her ass from one part of the state to the other because she wasn't even there and perjured herself criminally.
Do you disagree that this is a video of that particular night during the election? Are those the people that you
listen to this?
Is that how the video went?
Von Herman asked, is this a video from what you've seen? Is this the video from that night? Simple question. Does it look like it? Listen to Reese. Tell me this guy's not a scumbag.
I don't disagree that it appears to be filmed in the location, but I can't testify whether it's an actual video of the proceedings, whether it's been edited, whether that, it sounds like you played a very small selection of a very long meeting.
Well, if we'd like to sit here for an hour and 11 minutes, I certainly.
As far as GOP meetings go, an hour and 11 minutes is nothing. They walked in there. Nobody ran against each other. They put Baby Huey in as president and the other morons in their positions, and they all celebrated and ate cake. That's it. It was an hour and something meeting with a fake everything. And now he's trying to say, well, I don't know if it was edited. Edited because it says live on it. On Facebook, you can see it was live streamed. You can see the minutes, everything. Listen.
Court's inclined to do it.
You still haven't laid a foundation for it. I don't care to sit here for an hour.
Again,
Oh, Reese got some shit to do? Screw the rest of you in the chat right now that are members of the ACGOP. He just pissed on your grave.
I appreciate your argument, but I mean, Your Honor, I'll do whatever the court wants to do. If you'd like, I'll be happy to put Mr. Slagle or Ms. Tracy up. We can do it. We can recall Mr. Boyd. However the court wants to do it. I was trying to do it simple.
I don't want to do it the long way.
Miss Lack, just tell me what video you want me to show. I'll show it, but I don't have the video of the courtroom. There is none.
She's talking about the video that they tried to present in the courtroom.
Oh, we couldn't download it all. We showed the one. I'm just trying to answer a question. That's all. If I have a video, I'll play it. Maybe she just got here.
If I may, Your Honor, neither one of those individuals were at the meeting.
I get
they
it.
were there.
Right.
They could test. If it matters.
Mr. Boyd, we are going to continue this until we're going to get out of hand.
We're going to do this till we get out of hand.
You are not an attorney sitting here. You will answer the question.
Your
You
Honor.
will not ask.
Objection.
Now, that's standard procedure. I want you to listen to this. And this is another problem I have with Judge Mayer, because he's doing what he's supposed to do by saying, you are a witness, not an attorney. You cannot litigate from the box. Here comes the SCGOP lady that just randomly showed up out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, Judge Mayer's like, okay, yeah, you can talk too. Whatever. Just let everybody. Shit, if I would have known that, I would have went up there and talked about everything. But I didn't know that we were allowed to do that, because apparently on that side of the table, you can do whatever the flip you want. And Judge Mayer's like, okie dokie, that's what it is. And so he's getting yelled at again for litigating from the box instead of answering the questions as a witness.
One more time, if Mr. Von Herman can go ahead and identify who took this video and
She was just whispered to because we had to leave.
then lay the foundation and determine whether the person that actually took and recorded this particular video is actually in this courtroom today.
Drew McKissick wasn't in the courtroom, was he, Elizabeth? Did you see him, Roger?
He must have been in the back.
Yeah.
Right, with Jerry in Florence.
And that travel port she has where she can travel through time.
This is the bullshit. Now they want, because of a video. Let me ask you something. When they're in court, and you'll hear it later by Mr. Von Herman, that when the WNBF puts something up and they catch something on their camera and it's used in court, do they bring in the chick that was the reporter, the producer, the director, the lighting guy? Do they bring all those people in? No. It's because it's a news aggregate and it's alive. This is proven to be live on Facebook. It's very simple to see. It actually says news and media on I'm Fired Up, whether you want to call it that. We don't call ourselves news. We basically just, let people know what's going on. Some people say I light shit on fire, but whatever.
Yes, the person that took this video was a intern for I'm Fired Up. It was a review.
Listen to Reese.
Listen to Reese.
Immediately upon it, he had to leave because he had a radio show.
He's talking about how me and Elizabeth had to leave because I have a radio or a show, not a radio.
She had indicated and shown it to people immediately upon the showing. It had all the time, date, stamp, and it indicates every.
Von Herman is explaining it has timestamps and dates and everything, and it's showing that it's live, that it has not been edited.
Your Honor, the proper foundation would be the person that actually took the video must come before this court on that stand, testify that they actually took that video, they were present. It's an actual full recording of what happened on that night. Based on what Mr. Von Herman just said, I do not believe that intern is here and present in this courtroom.
How about somebody that's given in a piece of paper the right to thousands of dollars of assets? He didn't have to show up, but you need a 20-something-year-old intern that shot a video at a meeting that is timestamped live and everything. And the SCGOP attorney has infiltrated herself into this court. The SCGOP was not even listed. And here on Getter, we have Sam Moore. Hey, GOP pirates, you have to give trust to get trust. Troubling on so many levels. Hashtag Uniparty. Our message is getting out nationally. Thank you, Sam Moore. And there's more, but I just thought that was a good one. And here they are. The SCGOP was not even listed as an attorney, did not know they were coming, was a surprise to everybody. Here she is running court because Reese is terrible.
So therefore, I would again object to any further testimony, review, or argument about this video. Second, Your Honor, I would go back to relevance. It is a waste of this court's time because this court doesn't have to determine the opinion as to whether this was a valid meeting or not a valid meeting to determine or to rule that the personal property should be returned to the Horry County Republican Party and or the state party.
So there you have it, Horry County. Everybody, your shit in Oconee County, Greenville County, everything that you've worked and done all of your work for, be it the money in the bank or the tables, chairs, the office building. Hey, Jeff Davis, that nice place you have up there for the GOP is not yours. She's saying that the SCGOP owns every bit of it, that they are access to those assets. I can look at Peggy Bushy and them that have been in this party forever, and there's things in there that they probably helped get. But this attorney is saying that no. Based on the fact that you are the HCGOP, the SCGOP owns all of it, which we have talked about multiple times, where the SCGOP has zero standing in county business. Zero.
This must be just a little taste of what Maricopa County feels like out there in Arizona. Just a little taste.
I've always said we are a small dichotomy of the national. And here it is. That's why I put it on the national for everybody to watch, because this is happening in your neck of the woods.
I think with regard to the Horry County GOP, and Your Honor, foundations can be made in a multitude of ways. It's not one such thing. Mr. Boyd said that appears to be the same place, the same meeting. That's sufficient. If he had, you go back and they can be a self-authenticating video.
So he's saying that if this is in fact not the right stuff, that Reese Boyd could, on the witness stand, could say, no, that's not our meeting. And here comes the SCGOP, Miss Hannah. She's a rock star. She is. I mean, she was wearing a very smart suit. Very, very well done. Very. When she says objection, we were talking about that earlier. It kind of hurts. Objection. Like you feel like you're in deep shit when she says objection. I like her. I ain't gonna lie. I thought Miss Hannah was legit. I ain't gonna lie. But whatever.
That's not the law. That is not the rules of procedure. No, that is not how this works, Your Honor.
Oh, shit. Honey. Apparently she's in charge. There you go. And if you noticed earlier, Reese said, it's up to you, Your Honor, if you'd like. So wink. You guys are all giving each other the, hey, how you doing? Oh, look, Jeff Davis is with us.
Circle going on there, isn't there?
Jeff Davis is with us. Just put in the chat. The SCGOP never gave us any of our property here in Greenville, not a single thing. Neither did they in the HCGOP. But Allie McBeal here is telling everybody that the SCGOP owns every asset we have.
It's all ours.
Very smart suit. Very Allie McBeal. She was good. She was sharp. She was very.
I own it.
It sucks when she's sitting next to another attorney. It's like a bag of hammers.
She's not here to say, well, I took this part out. I don't know if it's an hour, 2 hours. I bet the meeting lasted.
But it's okay if Drew McKissick's not there to say, I didn't write this. I didn't write this letter. And we already know that they have done that to Greenville when they put up in front of the state executive committeeman with a letter from none other than Joe Cunningham thanking the MySCGOP folks and Greenville and everybody else that Drew hates so that he could get a vote from the state executive committeeman to take over the Greenville County GOP. This is totalitarian nationwide. Ladies and gentlemen, South Carolina is ground zero, and they're setting up to take Trump out.
3 hours. I don't know. Yeah, we'd have to sit here and listen to 3 hours of it if that was the case. But we don't have anybody.
No, it's only an hour on that.
It's rules of just sent the video. You have to have the person actually took it. It's the rules of procedure. I got the rule.
So This is, again, an aggregated video that has live and everything, but you need the person who filmed it. We actually called Grant. He rushed his ass down to the court, and you're going to hear Von Herman say he is parking. And then you'll see how the judge really felt about this, because he said, I'm ready to rule. I don't need to see the video. And here's where you have the problem. Drew McKissick sent 4 letters with these idiots, and that's what they ruled on in regards to your shitty tables and chairs. Because where is the bank account, Roger?
It is secure with the duly elected members of leadership as the signatories.
Grant in.
I know. They didn't let Grant in the building. Anyway, here's the judge being dumb.
I can't allow it. It is what it is.
Hypocrisy is what it is.
Now, granted, if we'd have done that while she was still here, or whoever it was, I don't even know. And granted, we'd at least had some foundation, and you couldn't hardly.
See, the judge knew Elizabeth had left because the trial before, Elizabeth recorded and didn't know she wasn't allowed to. And the judge had to say, never mind, just don't do it again. And it was good instead of putting her in contempt because he never said anything. That being said, Elizabeth never recorded again. So he saw her leave because it was a courtroom where you could see the people that were there, including June Abinger. Just remember that name.
Yeah.
That.
John, again, there is self-authenticating publication.
Self-authenticated publication. Again, it came from my show site of I'm Fired Up, which is known as a news media aggregate, and it shows all timestamps and live. These are legal terms that the judge ignored.
They occur all the time. They are taken under judicial notice, and then given whatever way the court of the prior fact may do. Everybody that takes the videos or any of that stuff are not always present.
He's saying that not every video that comes into court is, in fact, have the videographer present. He's proving that through law enforcement and other issues in judicial case law.
Your argument is they didn't have a quorum.
See, now the judge got caught. He got caught because Von Herman brilliantly brought up that you don't need to have the videographer for every video that's out there. There's people that get video. The police get video from people's friggin' camera outside their house. Somebody steal their car across the street. Those people don't have to show up to court. They take their video and they use it. And the judge got caught. Now look where he flips it and turns it.
His argument is the parliamentary guy, Larry Richardson, said, you don't need a quorum, you got a majority. I realize what we got.
So now he's saying, I know what's on the video. We're good. Let's move away from this because I'm going to look bad if I don't watch this soon.
And so for me to listen to it, for somebody else to say it, and sort of move.
Doesn't have to be any authentication for cross-examination for purposes of questioning whether or not this occurred.
He's saying it doesn't need to be authenticated. I'm sorry about the microphone. They didn't turn that one on. But they're saying it doesn't need authentication because it's right here. And he just brought up the fact that you don't have to see the videographer of every in order to cross-examine. The video is what the video is. All he wants, and Bert Von Herman wants, is to say, yes, this was the meeting. This is what happened. That's all he wants. And then you can authenticate it if you want to stay here for an hour. But that's up to you.
There certainly is no evidence here. I'm not offering this to the exhibit.
I'm assuming what the video will say is there wasn't a quorum, right?
Correct.
Okay. I realize that's what you're trying to do, or trying to provide to the court. Of course, his testimony was there was a parliamentary guy there. I bet we don't have that recording of him there.
He's absolutely there. The little chubby guy with the cowboy hat never moves. But see, that's where the judge is trying to talk himself out of having to watch it because he's saying, okay, I understand what you're trying to say. Let's move on. But we're taking the parliamentarian's word that we don't know or have no anything
I don't know
from.
who was that talking. Was that the parliamentary guy? I don't know. As far as you can let me tell. Was that Mr. Richardson? Who was? I don't know who was talking.
I think the voice.
So he knew it wasn't parliamentarian talking. He knew that was somebody holding the camera. And he's trying to make it like, well, I'm not going to listen to it because I want Reese to tell me that this, in fact, was not the parliamentarian. It was the person holding the camera. And he's going to be like, well, there you go.
That you heard, Your Honor, it sounded like the people that were sitting holding the camera that were taking the video.
Huh.
Oh, because that makes a big flipping difference.
They were very particular to not cut off any of the audio or any of the video, so if it was used at a later time, that it would be available for.
What did they say there? See, I was looking at what you're reading. Never mind. What do you got? They're just still talking about the relevance.
At the very least, he can watch it and he can say whether that's his recollection. If it refreshes his recollection, and if that means it's
This is about reflection. Just trying to say maybe you forgot instead of me sitting here calling you a liar, Reese.
and he said 2 or 3 times, I don't know.
But they can't cross-examine the taker. They cannot cross-examine because they're not here.
Like we can't cross-examine the parliamentarian?
We can't cross-examine the parliamentarian, who is obviously wrong. If you all remember, the master parliamentarian, because I got one at Screw You University online yesterday, it says right here, I actually have the friggin' bylaw. I'm actually able to prove that your dumbass prostituted this to make it work for you. Here we go. And now you have the judge who is sitting here going, well, you can't cross-examine my 24-year-old videographer. And the most important part is every bit of this. Roger, am I wrong? In all of their exhibits, they gave all the letters that says Drew McKissick says that they recognize the pirates as the HCGOP.
Yes.
Did Von Herman have a chance to cross-examine the chairman of this SCGOP, the petulant child, Drew McKissick, that signed every one of those letters, or did he?
He did not.
Weird. See, it's for thee, but not for us type of thing, right? Rules for thee, not for me.
If he says, no, that's not right, I don't have any further, it's not evidence. It's to refresh his recollection.
It's to refresh his recollection, not evidence.
If this will refresh his recollection, it's certainly entitled to be shown to him, for him to listen to it, and if it refreshes his recollection, fine. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Otherwise, the answer to justice is simply not certain.
Mr. Von Herman, Judge, if I correct a misstatement of my testimony here on this stand, am I acting as a lawyer or a witness?
Because there's penalties, I would reckon. I'm not an esquire, but it's very simple that Reese doesn't want that, right? So he's making sure when he says the next thing, he's doing it under the right guys.
I didn't say my recollection.
And the judge never answered.
I recall what happened.
Because he doesn't know.
Well, then I'm sorry.
People that were sitting holding the camera that were taking the video.
There was an ongoing discussion, yes. They were very particular to not cut off any of the audio or any of the
I can't. Can't move it.
That it would be available for people to view without a rating belief, which is not for the treatment matter asserted there. And therefore it's not hearsay, therefore it's not got to be opinion.
So that's not evidence.
It is for the purposes of impeaching.
That night?
Correct.
This is October 12th, right? Okay.
October 11th.
I'm sure I looked at it at one point or another.
Do you have that with you?
What was it? I don't remember.
But they can't cross-examine.
Is it?
They cannot cross-examine because they're not here.
That's correct, but if he says, no, that's not right, I don't have any further, it's not evidence. It is to refresh his recollection. He indicates he's not sure, he doesn't remember.
Not evidence.
This will refresh his recollection, it's certainly entitled to be shown to him, for him to listen to it, and if it refreshes his recollection, fine. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Otherwise, the answer to justice is simply not certain.
Mr. Von Herman, Judge, if I correct a misstatement of my testimony here on this stand, am I acting as a lawyer or a witness? I didn't say my recollection is fresh.
My recollection is fresh. I know everything that happened, but wait, you can't make this up, and I need you to be quiet, Shannon, because Elizabeth's right. This is very important.
But wait, if it's fresh, you should have known that Jerry was not there. But yet, she was his only witness.
Jerry was his only witness, and I guess it wasn't so fresh, because now he's going to say, well, I forgot she wasn't there.
That's an honest mistake, Your Honor.
No, it's perjury. But listen, remember, he said it's all very fresh. I know what happened.
I recall what happened.
I'm with you, but it's not.
This is not even hearsay. This is not offered for truth of matter asserted therein. It is asserted for the purposes of impeachment, which is not for the truth of matter asserted therein, and therefore it's not hearsay, therefore it's not got to be authenticated.
So that's not evidence.
It is for the purposes of impeaching testimony for which he does not recollect. And he is stating
Objection, Your Honor.
that he does not recollect.
Objection, Your Honor. You have already ruled, Your Honor, that that video is not admissible.
This chick tells the judge what to do all the time. Like he's scared of her. Legit. Ally McBeal
She doesn't
scared.
know the rules. She does.
Yeah, she's scared. Objection. He's like, my bad. What?
Mr. Boyd just testified that his memory is very fresh. He does.
There you go, folks. Reese Boyd III knows everything that's going on. It's very fresh. He's testified to it. You even have the SCGOP, Ally McBeal in her smart suit saying just that. Here we go. It doesn't take long for that to fall apart. And I mean, holy shnikes.
Remember, there's no purpose for the video, Your Honor. I would ask that you maintain your ruling that
I wish this would have happened, and I would put it this way. Before whoever took the video was here, we could at least laid foundation. I want to present some evidence or a video. We could have laid foundation, and they could have left and done what they wanted to do. And then we would either argued about it then or now, and I would have made a ruling on that. But now they're not here, and you're asking me to listen to something that has no foundation, or listen, or at least present it to the court and move on.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Are you disagreeing with the fact that it's not a quorum?
Yes.
Okay, how many people were present?
I don't recall.
But it was fresh 30 seconds ago.
30 seconds ago. It's fresh as shit. Ally McBeal.
I recall.
You even had the judge go, he says it's fresh. I don't know. We ain't going to listen to it, right? We ain't going to listen to it. It's fresh. He says it's fresh. She says it's fresh. I'm fresh. Let's get fresh.
So
We're all
Ally
fresh.
McBeal said it was fresh.
Everybody, Ally McBeal stood up as the SCGOP super lawyer and said he's already testified that this is fresh. It's fresh.
10 seconds. I don't recall.
10 seconds ago. And he was asked the first question, do you, Reese Boyd III, Esquire of Davison Boyd, questionable lawyers, are you in fact saying that you disagree with what we're saying that you did not have quorum? I absolutely disagree with that. And then he asked him, what was the number? I don't recall. Brad, you're a terrible judge because that happened 2 feet from you. 2 feet from you. The fact that he said, and Bert Van Herman whoosh, whap, smacked him right in the mouth. And he told him, okay, you're so fresh. Ally McBeal says you're fresh. Judge says you're fresh. I'm fresh. You're fresh. Let's ask him a simple question. What was the number for quorum? He can't answer that because he will absolutely be perjury in his testimony as an officer of the court. Do you all remember he did not get to raise his hand? This is scumbaggery like I've never seen before. As an officer of the court and as an attorney in Horry County, I would be writing the bar myself because this gives every lawyer that icky feeling when we have to talk to you. This is who represents you under the bar. I can, let's continue, shall we? But I mean,
Fresh.
it's fresh.
I don't recall.
I don't recall. Should I say?
So how do you know that their quorum was present?
Because
I bet he says parliamentarian 4 times.
He gets mad.
multiple individuals, some of who are in the courtroom,
How come they're not on the stand?
responsible for counting people
not
as
fresh.
they came in. We had a parliamentarian who was specifically in charge of determining whether a quorum was present or not. The parliamentarian consulted the rules, the local rules that specifically address this, which we were about to look at before you grabbed the video. And can I finish? Do I get to answer the question?
No, it's not when it's hearsay.
I'm just telling you what happened.
Not if it's hearsay. And here's the rules right here that you couldn't pick out of a lineup or the book that Von Herman slapped on your shit. This guy is so pathetic, man. I can't believe.
My question was real simple. Was there a quorum?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a quorum. I don't know how many. I don't know who. I don't even know how many ECs we had, but you know what? I am the HCGOP chairman because some guy in a cowboy hat that's pissed off at Roger Slagle told me so. Facts.
I disagree.
In your
Motion in the court for the lion pipsqueak.
Did you ever see, or have you ever taken an opportunity to look at the roll?
He said, if you have ever had an opportunity to look at the roll, meaning the people that showed up that night, he's trying to get out of Reese some semblance of understanding as the guy that was elected that night under our rules and bylaws. Drew, you're terrible at this.
Well, I've seen various roles over the course of my involvement.
The roll for that night.
Have I specifically reviewed the role for that night?
Correct.
This is October 12th, right?
Actually, October 11th, Judge, but nobody fixes him. Either way.
I'm sure I looked at it at one point or another.
Do you have that with you?
No, I do not.
Okay. What would have occurred with that? Who would have kept that?
There were individuals, Bert, who were checking people in.
Ah, shit. He's going to ask me the question, and that old lady sitting right in the back of the courtroom doing, Elizabeth, what is she doing?
Oh, crud.
Sitting right across the way because they're going down this line of subjects. She's like, oh, shit, they're going to ask me to come up. And her name is June Avenger. She's a big fan of I'm Fired Up. She actually has a little thing that says that she's got a trophy or whatever, follows us regularly, but does this because she doesn't want this because she knows that she's going to have to go up there and lie.
As they came in the door, the meeting took place at the
checking in has nothing to do with the roll.
HGTC auditorium. There were
watch how he lawyers up and just says a whole bunch of words that mean nothing because he's trying to figure out a way out of this.
As people came in the door, they would sign in whether they were an EC or a president in the absence of the EC, or whether they had a specific proxy, whatever the case may be. They would sign in, go into the meeting.
Did you hear what Elizabeth said? Seems like he knew the bylaws there, but this, the important one just was, I forgot that one.
Decided by the parliamentarian, which I had nothing to do with, Bert.
Correct. I needed the guy from Yellowstone to tell me.
The auditorium, and there were various individuals, again, some of them here, who were responsible for that process. I had nothing to do with it.
But you said there was a quorum. You're the new chairman, as in 10 minutes after they called the roll. And Jerry McDaniel said, I was there when her husband was her proxy.
With this computer, can you describe the computer for me?
My understanding, the computer?
The computer that you're asking for a claim and delivery.
The printer.
Or printer, excuse me, I'm sorry.
My understanding is that it is a Canon LaserJet printer that was purchased by Michael Conant. Mr. Conant couldn't be here today. He's not well. But my understanding is Mr. Conant purchased that printer for purposes of doing what Miss long day. Yeah. What Jerry testified to earlier.
You mean the one that perjured herself because she wasn't even in the building? Good testimony. Thanks, Judge.
Hey, she wasn't even in the county. She wasn't in another county.
She was totally in another county giving away puffy cups.
What Jerry McDaniel testified to earlier, printing out ballots or forms for the reorg process.
Are you, when you provided to the court these various exhibits, I'm assuming this was to support your position in what you're requesting?
Uh-oh.
In the claim and delivery?
Are you referring to the exhibits to our complaint?
Yes.
Those exhibits were included, Bert to lay a foundation for the claims, explain to the court why we're here today and how we came to be involved in a claim and delivery between two sets of officers, both claiming to represent and manage the Erie County.
Well, at least he did that for you, Slagle. He called you an officer. You're still an officer.
That was the nicest thing.
That was pretty, and if I do say so myself.
Bolshevik.
And none of those are in affidavit form. None of those are sworn to.
Uh-oh.
Is that correct?
Well, they're attached to a complaint that's filed by an officer of the court, Kelly Turek, in my office, who, by definition, attests to the validity of the claim when she filed it.
How can she attest to shit based off of the exhibits that Drew McKissick wrote in Columbia, South Carolina, from Surfside, South Carolina, and she's attesting to these? This guy walked up, ran off an email from Drew McKissick, said, "Hey, Kelly, put this in your situation. We'll call it special." Look how he's prostituting the law, and the judge eats it.
No, sir. And I understand. I would never ask. What I take you at your word, and I'd certainly take your staff at her word. What I'm saying is for instance, Drew McKissick.
I know.
Under
but not Von Herman and his
attachment A. That is not his letter. Is not authenticated, and it's not sworn to or an affidavit form.
It is not an affidavit form. No, it is not.
And nobody's ever met with these people and sworn them in as we would do in our offices. We do it all the time. It's just supporting documents, correct?
We do not have sworn affidavits.
No further questions.
Ain't that a bitch?
It's like no evidence.
They want a 24-year-old kid to come out there because he held his phone up, and they want him to. We're not going to look at any of the real live evidence that is live on an aggregated site. Blah blah blah. But you do not. You even have the authority to do so as an underwriter or whatever to sit there and make this an official document under an affidavit. And Reese Boyd's lazy ass didn't even do that. And the judge is like, "Well, it's good. I mean, whatever."
But she said so.
Yeah.
Listen to Allie.
Allie McBeal said so.
She said it's okay.
And here she comes to sweep Reese up again.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd, are you the current chair of the Horry County Republican Party?
Depends on who you ask. But
And has the South Carolina Republican Party recognized you as the Horry County Republican Party chair?
yes.
And at the meeting where you were elected as the Horry County
Shannon, brace yourself.
Uh-oh.
Republican Party chair, was there also a vice chair, treasurer, and secretary elected?
We elected at that particular meeting a chairman, a vice chairman, and a state executive committee person.
And who was the vice chair that was named?
Rob Visconti. He was here earlier. He had to leave.
And who was the executive committee person that was elected that day?
Michael Connick.
Okay, and does the South Carolina State Republican Party recognize all three of those individuals as the duly elected officials?
Yes.
Under the bylaws of the Horry County.
And I would just add, they've done so numerous times. And at the most recent state executive committee meeting of the state executive committee of the Republican Party in Columbia, Mr. Slagle and another individual, also one of their officers, Shannon Grady, attempted to attend that meeting in Columbia, and the state party escorted them out of the meeting location under police guard.
Very good. Now, under the bylaws of the Horry County Republican Party, is that party, do they follow the South Carolina Republican Party rules and the South Carolina election laws?
Does the state party follow that?
Does the Horry
Yes.
Party follow the state rules and the South Carolina election laws?
I would say the attempt is made to follow.
The attempt is made. I don't know about you people, but if we have election laws, are they not to be? He's saving his own ass because he knows that they did not follow election laws, and he's giving himself an out by saying we attempt to. We don't attempt to follow laws. You follow them or you don't.
It's kind of like when Dreamer said the bylaws
Are a guide. Bylaws are a guide. As long as you're taking 30
I'm
minutes.
pregnant. No, you're either pregnant or you're not. You either follow the rules or you don't.
Roger?
And a bit like, residence in a precinct for reorganization is preferred.
That's why they preferred precinct organization.
The guy with the slick willy over here, Reese Boyd, put out a statement that said that we are coming up on our precinct, blah blah blah, and that we prefer, in order to vote for your precinct leadership, it is preferred that you live in your precinct. We'll just post that for everybody since we didn't get it in this. We just didn't want to make it too much. And by the way, for those of you that are sticking this out because you're Patriots and we only have a few minutes, we're going to try to let this thing run and get to it. But we wanted to show you exactly how very sleazy Reese Boyd III is.
Yes.
And regardless of your opinion or Mr. Slagle's opinion as to who the chair is of the Horry County Republican Party, it's clear that the state party has recognized this.
Yes, that's correct.
So basically, the state party and Mr. Richardson are in charge of everything.
And as the chair, has the state party directed you to obtain the personal property that belongs to the Horry County Republican Party and the South Carolina State Republican.
Nothing belongs
Yes,
to the
they have.
state.
As a matter of fact, in the attachments to the complaint, you will find a letter from myself to the former officers and also a letter from Drew McKissick to the former officers, both requesting the same thing, the return of the party's property to the current duly elected officers, who are the plaintiffs in this action.
Julie.
And the list that's attached to the complaint, that's the list that we're asking this court to return, correct?
That is correct.
Your Honor, that's all the questions I have.
Your Honor, I
Thank
have
you, Ally.
No more questions, but I would like to just address the court for 1 second. Sure.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Just as a matter of.
It's hot up there, ain't it, Reese?
Yeah, Your Honor, we do have present the individual that was sitting with the person that had videotaped that video. It was streamed live on Facebook Live. She had been was present the entire time. She's indicated she's watched the video. It has not been altered or amended by any means, and she is willing to testify. My question to the court is at this late hour, and understanding we all don't want to kick the can down the curb, and I agree with you. I've got things myself. It is an hour and 11 minutes. She can authenticate it and play it for the court, and that way the court can see what took place at that meeting, and that basically that the meeting is invalid. And I think at this point, Your Honor,
Yeah, she said
what I'm asking the court is how the court would like to proceed, whether it would like me to call the witness, which would put it probably close to the 7:30 hour by the time it's.
Your Honor, this is yet another attempt to delay. This is a very simple matter. It's a
Notice how Ally McBeal took over.
Personal property. Your Honor's already ruled that this video is not admissible. Mr. Von Herman just indicated that the person that was sitting beside the person videoing the thing was here to testify. That's not an appropriate foundation. Your Honor has already indicated that you have an idea of what the video is going to show anyway. I would submit to this court that that is not an issue that's before the court at this time. You heard Mr. Boyd just testify that the South Carolina State Party recognizes him as the chair. It is a fact that's been submitted in evidence. Therefore, Your Honor does not need to make a ruling on that issue because that's not an issue that's before the court. That is factual. That's already occurred at the state level. And, Your Honor, that would only delay and drag this thing on out in an attempt to, subvert the issues that are before the court. I would ask that Your Honor, again, deny that request.
Again, Your Honor, I was asking the court how you'd like to proceed. We're not interested in dragging it out. I can put her on the stand right now. We can go forward. What I'll try and do is, again, I'll leave it entirely up to the court. It certainly is proper foundation for her to have been sitting by, for her to have reviewed the video, for her to have known that the video was not cut off, and that it accurately depicts everything that she saw and it being recorded, and her discussions with the individual.
And we're talking about a meeting with 80 plus people being there?
Your Honor, there were supposed to be 80. There was only, I believe, when we counted it up after the roll call, it was 44, which was significantly less than the 2/3. What Mr. McKissick may or may not recognize in a part-time position in Columbia can only be recognized by the information that he has provided, and he's not here to be cross-examined. So it would be unfair not to go forward and allow them, with the proper foundations the court's required, to allow the court to hear the video, hear what the parliamentarian said, if he said it from this video, or hear what I understand it says, which is, we're not going to deal with that tonight. They made a big deal about this objection, and somebody asked, what are we going to do about it? And Mr. Connick's response is, we're not going to deal with that tonight, and take it away. And then, of course, Mr. Connick also is ultimately elected to the position of influence.
talking about Connick's not there.
Which contradicts what you just said. Somebody had to make an election. If they're not going to do it, they're not going to do it.
No, they didn't need to make an election because our chairman was duly elected and was going to have elections because they called for the adjournment after the last one. That's the problem here, is they keep trying to push this snowball up a very warm hill and it's falling apart. But the judge rides that pony all the way for Reese Boyd and them under zero foundation, except all of the concept. And, you know, I'm not an attorney, but it looks like there's some hypocrisy here and on what is allowed to be said and what is allowed to go into evidence than what's not. And apparently, if you get a letter from the SCGOP chair, the courts are just going to give them everything you've got. I would suggest everybody get incorporated and make damn sure that you're not a part of the SCGOP immediately.
We're not going to deal with the fact whether there's a forum or not. We're not going to elect. And then ultimately, the ultimate election is held. Mr. Conant is one of the people elected.
And that's just audio. It's not video.
It's audio, video, yes, sir.
It's video too.
Yes, sir.
Holy shit! There's a video.
And on it.
I'm again going to object.
Yeah, you are, Allie.
That you understand what Mr.
That will
Von
blow
Herman's
our
argument
story.
was. There was a quorum or there wasn't a quorum.
We're almost
You're the
done,
trier
Phil.
of fact, Your Honor. This video is not going to help you come to that conclusion any greater by watching an hour and 10-minute video.
Yes, it would have.
It's a waste of the court's time because Mr. Von Herman's already told you what it's going to stand for. You've embraced it. You said you understood it. It shouldn't have any bearing on your final decision because that's not an issue before the court.
But a Drew McKissick signed letter that we can't get in the court or an affidavit from is okie dokie, Smokey, and some guy in a cowboy hat. Okay. Cool.
Again, am I supposed to make a determination who's the chairman, who's the officers or not?
Isn't that crazy?
I can do it if you want me to.
Threat.
If that's what you want me to rule on.
No, Your Honor.
If you want me to rule on that, then obviously I know the South Carolina GOP is a proper party.
I guess he didn't know it's GOP.
And that's the reason I took the break and I extended it to make a motion. Right, but I think that would have been
Von Herman's still talking about the motion, and he's arguing this motion so he could watch the video.
Really, the ultimate issue that they're trying to get to is they want this court to declare one side the winner or the other, and that's just not. If what they were really interested in, then that would be one thing. But in order for them to get these items, Roy County GOP, we will concede that whether it was them in possession of it or us in possession, that ultimately it becomes the South Carolina GOP that gets to determine the allocation of it, even, subject to other litigation possibly, but I mean,
because they own none of it.
They're the ones that get to decide if it's property. But they can't violate the rules as they're told when they didn't attend.
Right.
And then just tell me how I can present my defense to the case and not, because the court necessarily has to find that they are the party that is entitled. And what we've got right now is two parties, or two individuals, two groups, that both think they're entitled to
And to a fault, I might be wrong in how I rule. And that's what the great thing about appeals are. I might be wrong. But it's just sort of.
Roger, when you talked to the attorney about an appeal, what was that going to cost?
You're talking five digits, so $10,000, something like that.
To appeal this judge who is arbitrarily and flippantly saying, I might be wrong. I reckon it shouldn't have been in his court. He didn't say that, but that's kind of what I'm feeling from him. And he's saying, well, that's why we got an appeals. Y'all can go to appeals. And he's like, if I'm wrong, y'all can go to the appeals. That is going to be at the cost of we the people at $10,000 based on a judgment for, and you heard it multiple times, for tables and chairs. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me, for 1 second, this judge gave two shits.
Is what it is. Yes, sir.
Oh, it is what it is. I didn't know he
Just
said
very
that.
briefly,
That's even better.
interrupt 1 moment. Mr. Von Herman is now saying, well, let the state party decide, and we're okay with that. There is a letter among many attached to our complaint. It's
This guy's terrible. That's not even close to what he
dated
said.
October 24. It's from Drew McKissick, the state party chairman. It's directed to Mr. Slagle and Ms. Tracy, and it's Exhibit H to the complaint. Your Honor, it's a letter dated October 24. And in that letter, Mr. McKissick is saying, gather up these items and deliver them to the new officers of the party. And it just doesn't get any clearer than this, Your Honor. I don't think that the court can properly wade into the weeds on whether particular meetings were held in accordance with any particular standard. Your Honor,
Because it's the bylaw. It's the law of the land. But why, Judge, don't waste your time getting in them weeds, them laws and bylaws. I don't mean, you know what I'm saying?
Chad, if I could interject, you know, I
Please.
mean, it's like, it's so simple. It's such a simple case. As long as you sit there and shut up and don't say anything.
Shut the hell up. Listen to our cowboy.
It's really simple. It's really
because
simple.
this little page.
Drew says, therefore it is.
Well, actually, Drew said this in a text to Miss LaPetra. Drew told me there is no interim chairperson to take over because right now Roger is still chairperson until September 30th. So it's all over the place. I don't know how you can't win everything because it's just simple, but the judge just doesn't seem to give a shit.
I don't think that's appropriate at this time. If anybody objected, anybody in this room
here we go.
objected at the October meeting.
You weren't allowed to have a meeting.
In the absence of a quorum, they should have gone to the meeting and objected at that time.
You mean at the unlawful meeting that you weren't allowed to hold?
But you notice how he doesn't say we had quorum.
Right.
If you didn't like the fact we didn't have quorum, you should have been represented to raise your hand, get your ass chewed out by everybody, and have security remove you. Would that not be what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so this dumbass wants me to sit there, and he's trying to put it to the court that it's our fault that he didn't have quorum and we weren't there to say anything. That's exactly what he just said.
Yep.
I feel sorry for people associated.
Objection is now waived. You can't raise that objection 6 months later in a court of law.
3 minutes, people. We're good.
And that would also force the court to get into the weeds of the party. This court, not only can it rely on the representation, I go back to the statement from the State Election Commission. Not only can this court rely on the statements of Drew McKissick and the state party as to who the officers, who's entitled to be custodians of the state party's property in Orange County.
Whoa. State party's property. Roger Slagle, do we pay any type of charter to the SCGOP?
We do not.
Does the SCGOP pay us in or buy anything that we are subsequently using to progress the HCGOP?
No, they are not.
Have they helped us with any of our fundraising?
That's a big no.
Shannon Grady, when you ran the women's club that was put there as an auxiliary group to the elected, duly elected, did the SCGOP help you with fundraising?
No, they told us they didn't have any money to give us.
That's a lie, because they absolutely did emails after emails after emails for your events. That was helping you. I'm not saying they gave you money, but the SCGOP absolutely helped the Horry County Republican women in that way of using their MailChimp and their vast amount of emailing and whatnot. And they did help you in that way, albeit small, but they did help.
That's
the
true,
women.
but they didn't give us any money. Yeah, they had no money.
No, I apologize. But yes, I understand as far as financial gain, but they did help you. Did they put any emails out for you, Roger?
No. I mean,
did they even answer an email? How about that?
Say that we're not legitimate. Yeah.
There you go.
On the statements of Drew McKissick, it must rely on the statements of Drew McKissick. It's as the statement from the State Election Commission states. That's the end of the inquiry, Your Honor.
Your Honor, because I want to be real clear about our position. Our position was and remains that we are trying to work this out and come out with a compromise. We are not saying, and I disagree with what you're saying, that we all have to listen to Drew McKissick. Because
all he's trying to say right now is that Drew McKissick is the chair, and there's aspects of which. But what his argument is that under the laws that come from the state and our Horry County, that this is not by any means stretch or form that he is in fact the duly elected. 2 minutes. You have it? You don't.
If they'll give an accurate statement, not just affidavit of, stating the rightful property of Horry County at some time, then we're happy to work with Horry County. The issue is this court must necessarily find that who the party is. They have the burden of proof, and I'll even be, you know, as long as they're okay with it, I'll provide this court a copy of the video, and they're certainly welcome to watch it, and you can watch it at your leisure. I know I try to do that for judges all the time because everybody sits there and stares at the judge trying to read their facial expressions to see what they think. I'll do whatever it is to make it easier. I'm not trying to get
He's saying that they have the burden of proof and they have to prove it. We don't have to prove anything, but if you notice, we're not allowed to prove anything, and theirs is accepted.
have a very passionate belief in
Peggy Bush is correct in her statement as well.
But we're also entitled to be heard as a defendant, and especially in view of the fact that we are going into this thing, we are actually determined to be the correct holder. They have to overcome the burden. We do not. We have to prove nothing.
Nothing.
Your Honor, we've been here since 2 o'clock. Everybody
Priest
has
is tired.
had an opportunity to be heard today. And as Mr. Von Herman has observed numerous times, this hearing's been on the docket for 60 days. We've been here before. This isn't even the first time that we've been here, Your Honor.
Forget it. Very close here.
What on that video do you think that's going to sway the court to do one way or the other? If it's all about the quorum.
I believe that the quorum.
I don't think Mr. Boyd is going to testify to the court as an officer of the court. He's going to lie.
Boom. Holy shit. The entire testimony and everything he said was a friggin' lie. I have proven it time and time again. My wife and I, my poor wife, has spent 20, 30 friggin' hours putting this together because we had to do the judge's job. And he's sitting here saying, why would Reese Boyd lie to me? Because he's a lawyer. First off, and is it not his job to question any and all so the truth can be out to be adjudicated accordingly? Yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely.
This is where I put it on Brad Mayer's hands.
Mr. Richardson was in there somewhere. I bet he's on this video. He's probably not on that video whatsoever.
What has that got to do with anything? He's a cowboy that took a weekend class and printed out a card. Doesn't mean shit to anybody. This is the problem, people. They're chasing their own tail because they wouldn't let Bert Von Herman do anything in regards to what he just said. I don't have to prove shit, but I'm trying to, and you won't let me.
As far as I know, I don't know. But if he's not.
No, sir, I do not think either one of these fine attorneys would ever misrepresent.
I don't believe any of these fine attorneys because that's where you get into trouble by saying an attorney lied. So Von Herman's doing what he's supposed to do so he doesn't get in trouble. And here's where we've done the work for him. And it's not his job per se. It's the judge's job to find out the truth. Okay, that's it. We've got a lot more. We broke it down. Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon, give us closing words real quick.
Yeah, it's pretty clear to me that there are nothing but lies that come from this 8C GOP pirate group. Jerry McDaniel perjured herself multiple times, and as far as I'm concerned, Reese Boyd has done the same. And as an officer of the court, this is very troublesome, and I hope that this is going to be taken before the board, and somebody is going to take care of him as they should, legally speaking. And as far as I'm concerned, once again, Roger Slagle is the duly elected chair still, and we should continue to move forward.
Amen. Thank you, Shannon, for joining us. I know you're hurting because of your surgery. You've been a trooper, and thank you. Roger, your turn.
Just 4 quick points. We didn't get to it, but there is South Carolina election law, which is relevant. Basically, it says, Von Herman alluded to it a bit, you must follow internal laws, bylaws of an organization. There was no legitimacy of this provisional chair since the chair seat, which I held and still hold, was never vacated. They illegally called a meeting and resulted in elections where they violated a very, very clear, unambiguous requirement of a 2/3 quorum. And the video was fundamentally relevant to all of this, to basically show that they knew that they didn't have 2/3 quorum. They knew that they needed it, and they went ahead anyway. So I'll shut up.
No, shut up. Roger, You have stood as classy as you could in this, and I've never said I was classy. I ain't gonna lie. From the bottom of my heart, and you're family to us, and it is what it is. But you have shown nothing but strength and pure leadership in how you've dealt with nothing but extraordinary evil. I don't know another way to call it. Elizabeth?
I would like a closing remark.
Okay, well, let me finish this in here, and I'll let you come over here. That's gonna suck because somebody's gonna get it. But I want you, from all of us, at least the people that I know are around us, you are the strength and what we need in our HCGOP, and you have done it with pure class. And I think the world of you, and I will continue, regardless of what comes at us, to stand by you and fight with you for what's so important in our country, our county, and our state. I want to say thank you for doing that.
Thank you, sir. Those are very kind words. Thank you.
You're welcome. Elizabeth, you're up. All right, go ahead and yell to the microphone then. She doesn't want to come around.
I just want to say everything that the telegram, the pirate telegram, had explained was just what we saw.
Sure.
Drew recognized them. Drew gave them all the materials, never recognized us. We still pushed through. We still got work done. And they still came in to steamroll us. Everything they said and did in the telegram was exactly what we just dealt with.
You nailed
2
it.
years.
You nailed it. Elizabeth, for those of you who couldn't really hear, because I mean, it sounded good on the mic. I don't know. In the chat here, Roger, you're getting a lot of love. Thank you, Chairman. Roger is the best. Thank you, Caton's Roger and Shannon. Mr. Slagle, thank you for your integrity. How dumb are they anyway to be named pirates and use 3 musketeer lines? One for all for one. Atta girl, Peggy. Gotta love some Miss Peggy. All right. I always close with what I'm fired up about this week. Ladies and gentlemen, we have tried to put out, not because we are angry in a way that we wanted to take people down. They like to say that the Catons love to throw nuclear bombs and burn it all down. That is not what we stand for in any way, shape, or form. And the thing is, we never stand on an ideological plane and say us as ourselves as Catons are perfect. I am a very flawed man in tons of ways. But the thing is, and I asked Shannon, did we ever come after you or did you come after us? When you come after us, you will get every blunt of the truth because I can stand on the truth when it regards to you. Reese Boyd, you have shown yourself to be the very despicable person that you are. You've chosen to do it. We got you on a hot mic talking about your relationship with your wife. I chose not to put it out there because I did not want to put your dirty laundry out for the world to hear because I am a moral man. I understand that you may have some issues and it's brought on by none other than yourself. That I hope you're able to fix for the betterment of your children and your family. But what you have done to the people of Horry County, this Republican Party, and what's going on in this state and country, you are absolutely standing with blood on your hands and guts. This was brought by you because you chose to. This was brought by you because you were either told or promised something. You have destroyed your political career forever because I assure you, and the people that are on this chat will stand forever. No matter what you do to me, the truth has been set, and you have been shown to be a perjurer. You have been shown to be a disgusting, immoral person. And the idea of Esquire after your name is not because I say it out of respect. It's because I try to remind you every day of what you're supposed to be held to. That of someone that has passed the bar and is an officer of the court. Just like when I was a fireman, I was held at a higher level of what we are supposed to stand in our community like police officers. But you choose to prostitute it for your own personal gain. You choose to do what you have done because either you're a psychotic person or you just have something better and we're in the way. Either way, you've been shown for exactly who you are. Phone calls have been made on Jerry McDaniel. There has been investigations going to be opened, and every bit of this is going back to Judge Mayer with the proof of what we have in order to discuss, not to get our tables and chairs back. You can keep them, but to put the people in the rightful place as we the people in Horry County GOP. Roger Slagle did the job, we did the work, and we kicked your ass. Get used to it because it's not going to stop no matter what happens from here because we the people will take back this country. It says we the people at the top of the Constitution, not you and your people. Remember that when we continue moving forward, and I wish all of you across the state in Charleston, York, Anderson, Oconee, Greenville, continue the fight, because the rebellion is not the rebellion. We are the status quo as the true GOP. We are the conservatives that are going to put the best person forward in every election and hold those accountable that are put there by nefarious people such as the petulant child, Drew McKissick, or any other of these malcontents that think that they can sit at the table of all the greatness that is given to them without us yanking on their leg. We're not doing the leg yanking on the leg anymore. We're about to cut the feet out from under you, because we, the people, deserve to be in the rightful place under what this world, or this country, this state, and each county is represented as. We are the people, and it is our GOP, not yours. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the Kangaroo Court. Mr. Mayor, I hope you can't sleep tonight, and I hope that you do the right thing. You have the opportunity. I'm giving you an out. But what was done and what we have proven is in your hands to once again fix. And I demand every bit of punishment that comes from any one of these people lying on the stand as they put their hand on the Holy Bible and then stand with the Palmetto Family Council and give proverbs after their radio show. I'm frankly sick of your bullshit. And that is, America, why we have the greatest country in the world, because I can stand here, look you in the eye, and say, kiss my ass. We're coming for all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, show up, stand up, speak up. It's your republic. Fight for it.